Hello! Gently fading back from lunchtime. Not really lunch. It was like a fast lunch. I got chicken tortilla soup on my desk.
I saw that. Yeah, every day we walk over to Publix.
Yeah, I'm sick
I
of
get
it.
the
I hate
same
it.
shit.
I hate it. Because I'm not you. I can't do what you do.
And
I can't do the same shit.
Daniel panics and goes to the soups.
Yeah.
And then ladles himself some hot soup.
I ladle myself 5 ladles of a very thin and watery chicken tortilla with corn.
And sometimes, not always, but today was the case. There was another old man just waiting his turn to ladle his soup.
Yeah, but he got a little too
close.
He got too close to me.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure only old men eat these soups.
Low key, Orlando Regional Medical Center, like just south of downtown, has one of the best hospital cafeterias I've ever been to.
Really?
Like whenever I had to go there, like their salad bar is really good, and they have, they do this big thing where it's like warm cookies at 4 o'clock. So like all these doctors
Warm cookies at 4 o'clock.
Like,
That's
yeah,
not healthy.
all these doctors and nurses like line up in the cafe, and then it's like fresh baked cookies coming out, and they just all like
Get to
grab 'em.
work.
Well, they got to do,
No.
they're all, you know.
Get up there and scrub some asses.
So if you're having a heart attack at 4 o'clock at ORMC,
Yeah. Dr.
Too bad.
Cookie's in line, you'll die on the table.
no, but their cafe is a pretty damn good.
All right. Do you want to start?
Yes.
Where are we putting this?
This is going to be, you know what, I'm pretty sure, this would be Thursday. This would be tonight.
Okay.
Tonight
Tonight
show.
it is.
Go,
Tonight
boy.
it is.
Minimal editing.
Are you okay with that? Are you okay with it tonight?
I have no control over this.
Tonight,
But you can have
2
control
months
over it.
from now,
Yeah.
Kenny doesn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. All right.
No matter what I said, you would have aired it when you aired it.
That's true. That's absolutely true. We do things our way. Ooh, sure. Ooh, sure. You start, buddy. Here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. Are you familiar with all of the streamers in your local area? Well, we're the best Central Florida online stream. Not really.
Are we? There's probably
no,
better ones.
I didn't even believe it when I said it. But hey, go like and subscribe because we have a great stream on YouTube. Tons of different cartoons, tons of different shorts, little comedy, behind the scenes stuff. Just check it all out at Tom and Dan Live.
And if you want to become a BDM, and if you're not one already, you can sign up at tomanddan.com. We do BDM Appreciation Week coming up in April.
Yep.
Next week, we're doing $5 T-shirts for BDMs, which you'll get a bunch of extras thrown in each package.
Can I complain about the phrase $5 T-shirts?
Yes.
Man, that Subway $5 footlong thing burned hot because every time you say $5, I want to say footlongs, and then I think pedophile, and then I'm mad.
Then I think the joke, he's getting the footlong.
Yeah, remember when everybody said
the
that?
number one dad joke in the country?
Hey, you know Jared's getting in prison, don't you? He get a $5 footlong, get her done.
What's crazy is they haven't had a $5 footlong, I don't think, in years. Like that promotion, it just hasn't been sustainable for them. So they haven't actually had a $5 footlong.
No.
Yeah,
I still
quite a
remember the
while.
song.
Well, hyperinflation. They're like, we cannot do this anymore. $5 will buy you nothing.
If you've seen the John Oliver expose on Subway,
I don't watch pretentious British journalism.
franchisees hated the $5 footlong because one, it would like barely any margins on it, so they would actually would lose money.
You're making 3 cents on the footlong.
Yeah, exactly, and especially if you're in like a larger city, you're losing money on the $5
because you're
footlongs.
having to make 20,000 little loaves of bread a day.
Yeah. Then you got your employees. They're
Oh,
on
God.
fentanyl.
Yeah.
They're falling asleep in the footlongs. Yeah. Anyway,
That's a good start. I feel it's a good start. Anytime you can start with fentanyl is a good start with me.
and we have a BDM only appreciation party happening at the end of BDM Appreciation Week, and you'll only get the invite if you are a BDM. So
or just ask me.
yeah. Ask Kenny.
or ask Kenny.
You know, I need to check if you're a BDM.
I don't know if you are.
Yeah, maybe you're not. And if you're not, I'd be
Yeah,
very
look,
insulted.
he's reaching for his phone like he needs to log into his account.
I mean, I'm stirring up stuff on the BDM page about arena football.
yeah,
All right,
let's
let's
talk
talk
about
about
it. I was telling Tom a little bit about this.
So I don't know like the full ins and outs of
It's the second day in a row we've had somebody talking about predators on there.
Heyo. So with the Orlando Predators, I guess their owner is just a shady human being. Like
What? Shady. He said shady. I want to, yeah.
So I guess, so the Arena Football, for those who don't know, the Arena Football League, I guess.
How many shady owners can this play? I was an owner.
Is it? Do you have to be? Do you have to be a shady owner?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
If you, that's the first.
You know,
box
sometimes
to
I
check.
forget you were a shady owner.
Yeah.
Which means you're still a shady owner.
There was documents that I still have in my safe.
Can you throw those out? They're not going to be like, you know what those documents are? Those are his beanie babies. He thinks he's going to hold on to that at some point in time. If you framed it, it would be cool.
I was like, well, what if they started it up again?
Why
Because
don't you frame it?
Your kids are going to find it, and they're going to be like, what is this trash?
Apparently, I own just a website and a thing that was the Orlando Predators.
Yeah.
I did that, 2 versions ago, because when the Seagulls bought it, after Brett Bushy's and the ownership group that I was in was the Brett Bushy ownership, a new owner.
No, okay. From what I thought, the Brett Bushy ownership group was the group you were in. Then he sold it to somebody else. Then David Siegel bought it from that other guy.
Yes,
and
and
David Siegel sold it to maybe this guy, and now this guy's trying to sell it, I believe, right?
Yeah, so
Isn't that the problem?
It's a big rigmarole with that, and if you look at it, the Arena Football League ended up absorbing a bunch of smaller teams. So Orlando, it's like Orlando, Phoenix, and Nashville, like the three.
Can we stop saying
biggest
absorb because it's gross? It sounds like a maxi pad.
But
so
the
knock it off.
The other teams in the league are like Billings, Montana, Corpus Christi, Texas, Wichita, Kansas, Albany, New York. Like, it's just comically where Orlando is far and away one of the biggest cities, if not the biggest.
Wichita's got an awesome mascot.
Oh, but anyway, so like I guess 3 or 4 days, because the season's supposed to start this weekend, and Orlando, the Predators basically said, yeah, we're not going to be a part of it. And so the league, in retaliation, it's like, well, then you guys are expelled. You guys will never be a part of the Arena League.
That's what Buckethead did with his producers. You'll never work in this town again. That's what you got to do.
The official press release was written like a teenager who just got broken up over. Like, it was like the betrayal that the owners have dastardly done to their fans.
I went right to AI.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I went right to AI, and I'm like, I think this is AI generated, because it did read like a teen girl.
So horribly. And it's like, the city of Orlando deserves so much better than the heartbreak that these selfish, greedy owners are imposing on the team.
You know what it read like? It read like that weird Gideon's cookie thing. It read very much. It read like a crazy person.
So, but the fact that okay, I get it. It's the Arena League, but you're an official sports league, and you're going to be like, "Yep, that's what we're going to release."
Well, I don't even know why you would have to release that.
Well, I have some insight on this, because I was an owner, and I was hanging out with all the owners.
Jerry Jones of Orlando.
I also read
I heard them talk.
Releases.
I knew who the owners were, who the commissioner was. At one point, Bushy and a bunch of other people bought the rights to the entire league.
Correct.
And they were
I do remember this.
He was in a auction battle.
He had the whole thing
with
John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi was
Why
the
did
other.
I say John Bon Jovi?
Bon Jovi, and the only reason Bushy's group won is because it was like Thanksgiving Eve, and
he couldn't bid,
and he couldn't bid because he jumped on his plane. It was like this happened.
Yeah, he was in the air when they bid. It was like a thing.
So, but I also know that if you do own the Orlando Predators or whatever, the only way to make money is to do something. Because
good point.
Because you need.
Did you write that down?
You need the people.
You may have a point here.
You need to run the season or do games. Is that what you're saying?
Anything.
So you need to,
You need to charge some monies for people to come see you do something.
Tickets.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Whatever it is.
Right.
I know that's a pivotal, and then also when
that's your product, you would say.
So there's that. There's that, and then there's the sponsorships you sell. The Fifth Third Bank.
Well, if you don't play though, it's hard to because what's the what are the impressions for the advertisers?
So if without the ticket money and then the Fifth Third Bank sponsoring the first touchdown or whatever
the Jamie Watson wacky kick.
Yeah.
Fifth Third Bank presents Jamie Watson and Drunky the Bear's wacky kick.
And if you don't have that, you got nothing.
You got nothing.
So why did they opt not to play if there's no other way to make money if you don't play?
So this is one of the reasons. Essentially, they have to pay the city of Orlando to use the arena.
Yes.
And because of how gigantic the arena is, it's really expensive to rent it out. And the fact that they're playing teams from Billings, Montana, and Stockton, California, they're not getting the ticket draws and the sponsorships that are worth it. So essentially, they're losing money in every single home game.
This was what was happening with Bushy, and he was fighting with the Magic and fighting with the city because I know a little. I'll tell you guys.
This sounds eerily similar to what was happening,
which is why they went to the UCF
ago.
arena for a season,
Yeah.
and that was just a nightmare.
So I remember, Bushy was fighting with the Magic and the city because apparently the city basically gave the Magic all the stuff with the arena.
They get a different deal.
Because the city was paid for half the arena, so the city had some control or whatever.
They
it was.
still own and operate it technically.
Yeah. Okay, so they made the city pay for the whole thing. That was like the whole no arena thing that Jim Phillips did, right? Or was that with the water?
So that was the initial plan when they ended up doing the whole thing where it's like, hey, tourism tax dollars will go towards building the then Amway Center. That's when the politicians are like, okay, as long as it's not citizen tax money.
So I remember Bushy was fighting with the Magic and the city because the city basically said the Magic could have like 100% sponsorship rights on like banks and a bunch of other big sponsors,
And they were permanent.
and nobody else could bring in any new ones.
Yeah.
So
They were baked in. They were
Like when you walk in, it's like the Walt Disney Atrium and the Budweiser
and
bar.
you can't even
and
if
that
it's
is
a different
not to
team.
be touched. That is a baked in. They bought that for good.
And you have to say it if you want to promote it, and you can't bring in your own sponsors.
No.
And then Bush is like, "Well, how do we can't make any money,
he's
and
like,
you're
how do-
charging too much."
Yeah.
And then it was
I
like,
didn't necessarily disagree with him.
that is true because
I
how
didn't
are you
necessarily,
supposed to-
and he's not my favorite person, but I didn't disagree with because it did seem to me like, well, you're not giving him a chance to use the facility that he's even renting.
And the sponsorships that ended up coming through are like, Mama B's Catering. Like that would be like the main sponsors because all you're finding are these local mom and pops that don't conflict with what's already in the arena.
Now, I will say the Solar Bears are doing this, so there is a way.
Well, they're really
Well,
good. I mean, they know what they're doing.
It's
They're really
because
good.
the Orlando Magic owns the Solar Bears.
Correct.
Same
ownership group.
And as long as you cover it up. Now,
forgot.
there's other things too, like when the NCAA ever does stuff the NCAA is sponsored by Coca-Cola. So the arena being a Pepsi arena, they have to cover up all Pepsi signage, but the NCAA has to pay for that. So the NCAA has to pay to cover up all the Pepsi branding. They can only serve Coke bottles.
So they get that on the back end for covering up the signage, and that's pretty.
Yeah, because
amazing.
the Pepsi has a deal with the arena that's like, no, we're a Pepsi facility. But
My daughter loves that, by the way.
And-
My daughter loves Pepsi. That's her drink of choice.
Oh.
So when we go to the arena, like she's like dancing in the streets.
Could you do it at that Kissimmee? What's that arena?
Silver Spurs.
Silver Spurs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the Osceola Magic, where Mac McClung, 3-time
Yeah.
dunk champion, plays.
Yeah, I like Matt McClung.
Yeah. You just, you're like, smells like doo-doo. The rodeo is
Smells
just
like Toby Keith's urn in here. Too soon?
Probably hard to get people to travel over to the Silver Spurs.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Well, I think it's hard to get people to go to arena football.
Yeah.
Because
That's the first
The league as a whole
Well,
has just...
Because let's just say what we all know, it's not good football. It's not.
It used to be... So
It used to be good.
it
did.
peaked in, I think, the mid... here's my theory of what killed
Late
it.
90s, it was ripping.
Late
dude.
90s, because it was a Friday night, a PG-13 adult party.
And I don't think the NFL was as big as it was, so you would
Well-
get good players that couldn't make the
Yeah.
NFL, but like they'd play for like a couple seasons in the AFL.
But I think so. It became like this party environment. You'd have ladies flashing the camera when they get on the screen. But then
they did a pimp and hoe night.
yeah. So they
In
got
the 90s at the Predators, they did a pimp and hoe night.
so in the early 2000s they blew up. The Arena Football League as a whole blew up, and I think they made the bad choice of let's now make this family friendly Saturday afternoons and let's market it on to the masses, and it killed that niche party environment. And I think a lot of those fans are like, oh, I don't want to go if it's going to be a Saturday at noon and there's a bunch of 8-year-olds around. I'm not going to watch it as much.
I
or
agree with you.
Party as much.
I was
and
a
I think
part
that's
of
what
this.
killed it.
Yeah, it wasn't as much fun. I mean, it did get decent attendance, but it wasn't the way it was.
Cell phone cameras killed the flashing. Let's just go ahead and.
Well, I meant, but it's still the party vibe. It's
Yeah,
still the I'm
mean,
gonna chug 10 beers because it's a Friday night.
But pre-cell phone camera, 90s, Daniel,
Oh
like
my God! There'd be a lady standing next to you wearing full lingerie.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God!" Like wild.
And I will say that early 2000s, the halftime shows, entertainment.
Man, I thought they were really good.
You'd show up and you're like, "What's this guy gonna
Yeah.
do next?"
Yeah,
You know
why
what-
are there
you know what
80 cardboard boxes?
I'm not even going to jump on that because I will tell you that sometimes people would come for the halftime show and leave the game. So I will give you, your love. I feel like the halftime shows that you were giving them there, you were super serving the Predators audience because they got good football and they usually got a pretty decent halftime show. They really did.
Will anyone?
And I did a lot of work on those stupid halftime shows, so I'm taking a little credit.
Will anyone do any ridiculous halftime shows like I did? Is it Dead Forever?
There's only one person that could ever do that, and
No, but
that'd
it
be
can't
you
be-
if you ride again, baby.
But
Tom rides again.
Yeah,
I'm
for the
not
most
good at
part,
all.
yeah, but you're gonna find like what is it, the United Football League or the UFL or whatever is probably like some market is gonna have a wacky dude probably doing some local stunts.
Are
Not
they gonna
like
have
our wacky dude.
motorcycle hot dog off a string?
yeah. How about a diarrhea frisbee dog?
I had
Will
a
Billy
cop
was-
dog chase me down. I was one.
Stormtroopers
It was-
getting bullied by big offensive linemen.
It was
What
me.
about getting butter all over a $1,000 suit?
That wasn't a $1,000 suit. I hate to break it to everybody, but like I'm just gonna give you the real. Barry Wagner, God bless him. But I've been to the Magic Mall enough to see Airbrush Pete. I go to see Airbrush Pete, and Barry Wagner's bright red Predator suit was about $70. It was not an expensive suit.
How about me versus a little person trying to score a touchdown?
I remember that.
And then
You against women, then woman MMA fight. We had a woman.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favorite, and she rocked your ass.
it was
It was
God.
Spencer.
Yes. What's her first name?
We're getting old.
Felicia.
Felicia.
You know what I think would have probably
It's
helped?
Felicia Spencer.
We probably in the championship game should have had like a classic rock band that puts on a lot of makeup. I think a Kiss probably would be a great idea
did
for
that.
a halftime show.
They did that one year. You know, one of the years that was pretty fun for the
the
Predators, they had a rock band.
I
that
was
would-
making fun of the fact that a local radio station thought Kiss as a halftime act would.
Well,
would
that's
be a
what they
good idea.
did. They
Oh,
did
I know, and it was terrible, and no one watched.
But for one
Very
season,
good.
they had a band that played like during the breaks.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
cool.
I do remember that.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I will admit, when they brought in Angel and like he did his whole setup during that was pretty cool.
I like that.
during
I
the
liked
breaks.
I like the edginess of the fake left, fake right billboard where it had a girl with big fake boobs. And it
Didn't they
said
have a hot tub?
Orlando Predators, and it said fake left on her left boob and fake right on her right boob.
See, the problem is they need a more scammy owner.
Well, why don't you come out of retirement? Let's do this.
Hey, because I could,
And I'll be the commissioner. I'll even dress up like a crazy
could
person.
I rebuy the Orlando Predators,
I mean, we can look
T&D
into it.
Media? Because me and Daniel could put on a show.
Let's crowdsource it.
Like-
what if our listenership group, we'll call it the Tom and Dan listener group.
Yeah.
What if the Tom and Dan listener group buys the Predators and we just start having our own orgy parties? Big old football orgies.
Yeah. I'll have prisoners
Yeah.
play the football.
Oh my God! We'll make football great again. Write that down.
Okay.
Write down make football great again.
Wait, sell tickets.
Yeah.
And then you
Make football great again.
Oh, yeah. It'll be all like you bring your gun night.
Yeah, we'll do bring your gun night. We're gonna do a
everybody-
new thing called shoes for guns.
Yeah.
No one's ever done this before. You bring shoes and we give you some of our old firearms.
We put a target on the ceiling. We're like, shoot the ceiling.
No. You know what we're going to do? We're going to shoot that stupid Orlando Sentinel blimp that flies around there and drops the coupons. Shoot that thing out of the sky because Orlando Sentinel's dead.
Yeah, keep it up. Don't shoot off into the crowd.
Well, if you shoot into the crowd, we'll have you removed. We'll just kick you out. That's
I
not,
always
you can't be doing
appreciated
it.
when that blimp, because it had that little claw that like dropped all those coupons.
Yeah.
Except sometimes it didn't work, and then
Yeah.
it ended up dropping all 100 of them at
Like
once.
in a clump.
Yeah, and
it
just
would
like
hit some old lady in her hair.
yeah, just like one row would get all 100 coupons.
So, okay, well, let's break down the business model because I do know.
Let's give it up to Kenny Samsel for winning a brand new pizza from Papa John.
I don't know how
I
much
hate that.
they got paid recently, but I knew how much the players got paid when I got paid, and it was $400 a game. And that was it. They didn't get paid for the practice or anything else. They got some free housing, and they got like a couple meals.
Yeah.
Popeyes was a sponsor. It was like, seriously, that was part of their compensation package.
I do love some Popeyes.
But it was $400, and a lot of players would do it because they would be on that verge of like in and out of practice
and it's their
squad.
exposure to potentially get picked up by another team.
Yeah, and it was like they were kind of in this like purgatory between college and then like some would make a practice squad in the NFL.
They get
and then
$19
drop off.
an hour.
Was that the current thing?
Yeah. Unless you're a top earner, you could sign a contract. But it's always been
the
that
top
way.
earners were getting paid a certain amount.
67 is the highest earner right now in the Arena Football League. Is a $67,000.
And there were players.
right.
There were a couple players on each team that the league would, the actual league would chip in to pay them more. So they were kind of like MLS,
kind of like MLS, yeah.
where you would get like the Kakas of the world making a ridiculous amount, like how
I'm
much
upset
more?
that made me laugh.
Oh,
50
Kaká.
more than the next player. 50 times.
What's
more.
Messi making compared to like
Yeah, it's
our
insane.
best player?
Well, that was the whole thing with when David Beckham came in. It was like his lone salary was cumulative of everyone else on his team.
Yeah, and he also got the franchise rights for Miami
He got the franchise
at half off.
Well, and at the half off the price in like 2008 when
Correct.
he joined the league.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like
six,
it was
7 or 8.
It
Yeah,
was in perpetuity that he got that cheap ass price.
Okay, so
Ridiculous.
let's talk about this. Could you do some like Savannah Banana form of arena football and
Rock and Jock.
and just get players?
NBA Jam, but you do
It's
NFL Jam.
it's Rock and Jock. It's the MTV.
Well, that's what
version.
arena football.
It's harder with the sport of football though. than
Arena
it is
football
baseball.
doesn't want to
No,
do that.
but
They
they've
want to
tried-
be taken seriously,
I know,
and
right?
that's
Yeah.
the problem.
But no, they've tried doing a Rock and Jock football where it was like a flag football game with all the gimmicks and all that stuff.
Yeah, but the flag football, I still
Yeah.
want the tackling and
Yeah, like real football, but add some incentives in there to make the game more exciting.
or just
Like a battle bot.
No.
Like a battle bot that just comes out there and just starts yanking people's legs off.
Oh, so I found out you can actually have goaltending in football. So like, because they're back in like the 60s or the 70s, coach of the Chiefs found a dude who was like 7'3" and said, "Hey, if someone kicks a long field goal, I want you to stand at the goalpost, and when it gets close to you, I would just want you to jump up and swat it down."
Oh, that's fantastic. Hold on. You've been holding the story out on us? This is great.
So, but that's actually illegal. So, like, you're not allowed to touch the ball when it's on its way down towards, just like in basketball.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
so they could award the 3 points and basically call it goaltending.
So you have to catch it on the kick.
Yeah, you're allowed to catch it, but if it's
No, I
can't
mean catch
block
it on the
Oh,
catch
yeah,
on,
yeah,
you have to catch him as
that's-
he's kicking
yeah,
it.
that's why blocks can happen or whatever.
Interesting.
But yeah, you can't have Taco Fall like standing at the goal line and then jumping up to swat the ball away.
So,
Huh. But you could have him on the line.
You could have him on the line.
And then you could have him. I mean, he's going to get murdered
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm guessing he's so skinny and he's just going to get
And
destroyed.
unfortunately, he's not allowed to jump on someone, and you're not allowed to like throw him up in the air
right,
too.
right.
I've always wondered why they didn't just have one like 7-footer that you found like somewhere in Asia or whatever. Like
Yeah.
every once in a while there's a 7-footer and then just
Because inevitably, an offensive lineman can just spear him right in the gut and just destroy him immediately.
well, have him just stand right behind the line and put his arms up and then jump up with it. Like that's got to be a distraction. And like if you can get up, or could a
good kicker
super athletic guy just jump as high as a
Well,
7-footer?
so
That's
Probably
I
right.
think
That was
you
the whole
just
thing.
answered- or higher.
I think it was Earl Thomas with the Seahawks would like perfect timing when the snap is and hurdle over both the defensive and offensive line to block
Yeah,
it.
at that point you're just high jumping.
yeah.
No,
You know,
but
like-
what I'm saying is, like, he timed it out so
Yeah.
perfectly where he knew exactly when to run at full speed and jump over when they're going to snap it, and he would block it, and it was amazing.
And then every once in a while, and this happened with Belichick, noticed that a holder would do.
Well, he noticed that young girls are way better. That's the first thing he
noticed,
noticed.
like,
Yeah, he's
what
like,
are they
wow.
talking about?
He's
Guess
like,
what?
is it?
Just like football, he's right.
This
But-
guy knows his stuff.
He noticed that the holder would do some sort of like pattern before they'd hike the ball.
Yeah.
And they caught it in tape, and then they had someone on special teams like trained to run in, like he noticed the pattern. He's like, oh, he's going, and then run full speed, and right when they hike the ball, he's already at a full speed run.
Damn. Yeah.
And he blocked one kid. Now it only happened once because the team realized they realized that he's doing some sort of pattern that they caught.
That's interesting.
But and then Troy Polamalu did it too, where he'd jump over the line because he'd time the snap. And,
what's he doing now? I know retired, but
Head and
like,
Shoulders commercials.
yeah, but like, so is he?
That's it.
He's not a good talker or anything. He just does the commercials. He has good hair and.
He's not. I don't think he's interested in media. He made a lot of money, and then that Head and Shoulders money, he doesn't need to do much.
How old is Troy Polamalu?
He's probably my age.
Has he ever
40s.
Has he ever dressed up as Maui for his daughter for Halloween?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Or his daughter's friends or something. I'm sure.
Oh, that'd be gross.
Right?
I think
if you were, I think you arrest him if they're like Troy Polamalu's dressing up like Maui for my daughter's friends. That's weird.
He probably does a lot of stuff because he went to USC, so he probably does a lot of stuff out if he still lives out there.
Gotcha.
So back to arena football. Do you think this is the end? Are we ever going to see another Orlando Predators arena football
the league
game?
is continuing.
The
No,
league's
I know,
continuing. Even though they're expelled and will never make it in the league again, I think if there's a new ownership, they'll probably end up bringing it back.
And so they'll sell it, and new ownership will accept being back in the league.
But the better question is, why would you buy it?
If you know that you can't make any money.
Correct. Because, like, I keep seeing guys, even Brett Bushy, like, I mean, I remember all the headaches he would complain about and everything. It didn't look like he was having an amazingly fun time.
But there's always rich guys that want to own a football team.
That's exactly
But aren't
it.
there better things to own, like a white tiger?
Yes, but they have so much money, wasting it doesn't even matter.
So
I mean, a tiger's food is not even as much as the stupid football.
So the theory behind a lot of that is, at least on the very, very minor league level, that a lot of these billionaires and multimillionaires will buy these teams to lose money, but they'll use it as a tax write-off. And they'll basically say, I'm operating this as a loss, as a public service and providing entertainment, and they'll treat it more so as a way to like balance their books so it doesn't
Wait, can we do that? Can we run this business at a loss
Yeah.
because we're providing
and I don't mean to say like run it out as a tax write-off. What I mean is like, hey, if this operates at a loss, it reduces my tax liability because I'm making all this money. Oh, but I'm losing this amount of money, so I don't have to pay as much in taxes. Like they'll intentionally operate it as a loss.
I try to operate this company as a loss, but no matter how much money we waste, we still make more.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Every time he tells me, he's like,
It's so
spend,
profitable.
spend, and I'm like, still rich.
What
else you got?
It does seem like unless they change something with the Amway or the Kia Center, that no owner is going to buy the football team just to even if to operate a loss. Like you
move the team.
Well, it would
need to
it would
change
either
something.
be that or you would have to somehow strike a deal with the UCF Arena or an Osceola and figure out a way to sell out those venues.
But it didn't
That'll
work.
never happen.
No, it didn't work before. I completely agree. That's what I'm saying. You have to figure out a way like, hey, we're at the UCF Arena and we've somehow figured out how to draw all these people there.
The chat room is asking, how was the MJ show, Kenny? What's the MJ
So
show?
I went to MJ the Musical last night.
MJ, the
Michael
radio
Jackson.
DJ in Tampa?
No, it was basically the Michael Jackson Broadway show.
Oh, my God.
It was okay.
I'm molesting this boy now.
So what's crazy is
Oh, my nose fell off. Oh, my nose fell off.
you have to like they do all of his songs, but you have to realize, well, it's not a concert, it's a Broadway show. So they're doing like the flailing dancing and the pirouettes, and you're like, nah, just do the moonwalk, man. Just like, come on.
Yeah, you're going too far.
Give me the Thriller.
Yeah. I just want you to grab your crotch and go up on your toes.
Now, the guy who played Michael Jackson did a great job.
Oh, there's a
did
Michael
all the-
Jackson in it?
Yeah, it's literally about him and his life. Like, it takes place during...
Yeah, but it's a dark tale at the end.
Well, but it's put on and sanctioned by the Michael Jackson estate, so...
They don't mention that part.
Yeah.
Where is the birthmark on my penis? And what color is it? They asked the boy, what color is my penis birthmark?
They focus a lot on him getting abused, though, by his dad. Just like his dad beating him when he was a kid.
No,
That's
yeah,
like
yeah.
half the story right there.
Oh, they sing about that? I can't watch that. I can't watch that.
So they incorporate all of his songs. So oddly, like, he's getting yelled at by his dad, and then like the little boy version of Michael Jackson starts singing the opening line of Thriller because of how scared he is and how terrified.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, well, that's a dark version of like, it's like it's close to midnight. There's something creeping, lurking in the dark. And I'm like, oh, he's talking about his dad beating him. And I'm like, well, that's just depressing.
At the end of Thriller, is he a wolf? Or no,
that's a good.
What kind of monster?
Let's talk about this.
Is he turning into?
Yeah, he turned into a werewolf.
He starts as a zombie.
Well, yeah, there's zombies.
No, he's a zombie when he's dancing, but I do think he goes full wolf.
Remember,
Did you bring your zombie to wolf?
Well,
Yeah.
no, in the movie that they were watching, the actor Michael Jackson turns into a werewolf. It's not until the
Kenny's
girl
right.
the girl
yeah.
leaves.
There's two turns.
And exactly, and then he turns.
Yeah.
But at the very end, when it turns out it was all just a dream, he turns and his eyes are yellow,
which is a zombie.
Well, I was going to say
wolf.
that's indicative
Yeah.
of werewolf.
Yeah,
Hold
no,
on.
Kenny's right. Kenny's right on this.
Hold on, Michael Jackson, MJ. MJ's eyes are yellow. So bingo
Wow, my God. Michael Jordan's a werewolf. Werewolf Michael Jordan gave his son, Marcus Jordan, ketamine. It all makes sense.
They do focus on Michael Jackson taking pills, though.
Oh, really?
That's a part of the show, which is
What
weird.
kind of pills?
The whatever the pain blockers were, they attribute it to when he burned himself on
Yeah,
the
his
Pepsi
hair.
ad.
Yeah.
And in order to continue to go through with the tour, they just loaded him up on pills, and he like ends up surviving off of it
There were a time
until he doesn't.
where that like it wasn't out yet publicly that you could just get a bunch of drugs from any doctor.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
these
you
drugs
could
are
do it.
good.
The rich were doing it. But
Yeah.
But us hillbillies didn't know
Yeah,
about
that
it.
didn't come later till like pain pill
And you know what?
clinics and stuff.
And the hillbillies ruined it, not the rich people. I said what I said.
They still do it.
You hillbillies ruined it
Yeah.
for us regulars.
But all the rich, they were just pumping them full of pills.
Oh, they still are.
Quaaludes and
Oh, yeah.
every lewd.
Yeah, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah, bring me up. Make
So
me
was it
alive.
good?
It was okay. Again, you have to keep reminding yourself this isn't. You're not gonna see a Michael Jackson like tribute concert or anything like that. It's a Broadway show. So when there's dialogue, it's that over the top Broadway dialogue where it's like, "What do you mean? You have to go out and do the tour." And it's like no one talks like that.
I don't want to go do the tour. I'd rather stay here and drink Pepsi in this bed with Macaulay Culkin.
Do you think
They don't have Macaulay Culkin in there though.
Oh man!
That would have been good.
And I want cool now Macaulay Culkin.
if Michael Jackson was still alive, would he do social media?
Oh, yeah.
You think he would?
Yeah, he'd be on Truth. I know.
Like
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I
Because-
think he would. I think he'd have a team of people that do it.
Actually, I don't know. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm not saying that Jehovah's Witnesses don't have social media. I'm just saying, but like he grew up not celebrating birthdays or Christmases or whatever.
But what really gets me is he never said the goddamn pledge.
So it just makes me think like
They
I
don't.
wonder
They don't say the pledge.
his
So
re-
in my book, I don't know.
if
What
did
kind of
his
American are
religious
you?
beliefs like would they have prevented him from doing something like social media?
Well, I mean, he did everything else.
He did
so
drugs.
CB
I mean, like, why is social media worse than drugs?
Yeah.
I
got
mean,
a point.
He rationalized taking.
Yeah.
He knew he was taking illegal drugs.
Yeah.
Or did he say my doctor's giving it to me? and
Oh,
he
no,
just
his
left
doctors
at
gave
that?
it to him.
Yeah, so
That's
he just
why.
left it at that.
Yeah, it was more so like I have to take these in order to continue performing for my fans.
Do they show him his hair catching on fire in the musical?
No, they do typical Broadway theatrics where he's doing the commercial and then there's like a light explosion with LED backgrounds and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
to
yeah.
simulate that that happened. Which I get technically it was a good show, and in terms of like how they transition from the past to the present and the 90s and all that stuff.
Who plays Jermaine?
Some dude. It's because it's Broadway. It's like one actor plays 5 different roles, so it's always like a weird rigmarole. Of who's
Jermaine
who.
Jackson always to me looked like he was made of plastic wax.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he was so like shiny and smooth, and like always had the most put together kind of a chiseled look, I guess. I remember when the Jackson 5 did their tour with Michael, and I remember my buddy David, who had this scrambled porno on his HBO box, had a giant poster of the Jackson 5 sponsored by Pepsi
Yeah,
in his
the
room.
Victory Tour, yeah.
Yeah, and then I remember after the accident, he rolled up the poster and took it down.
Which
He
is
was
funny
sad.
because at least in the show, he's like, I don't even drink Pepsi. Like he was just doing it for the money.
No, yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. So I have, since I see how much time we've been recording,
Uh-oh.
I have an observation. Not a gripe. It's an observation.
Oh, hold on. Do you need the song?
These are just observations. They are not just gripes.
And this is to you, Tom.
All right.
So
I
Tom,
never get any of the gripes.
you know, you talk about how people, it's like, oh, it drives my wife crazy. I'm always asking why. I have to know everything. I don't think that people are getting upset that you need to know everything. In fact, it's great that you want to know the reasons why behind stuff.
He's
and
the
it's great
why
that-
guy.
I'm
They
a
call you
truth
that.
Exactly.
seeker.
Yeah.
That's what they call me.
What
Yeah,
people get upset about is
Patriot.
when people tell you the reason, 90% of the time you don't accept it, even though it's the reason.
He's a
That's-
non-accepting truth seeker.
That's what
right?
people get upset about.
Yeah.
So they
You're
don't
an
want-
acceptance-less truth seeker.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
them getting upset at you asking why isn't because you're asking. It's because they know you're not going to accept the answer. No
Oh, I
matter
know
what.
that. That's why I stop. That's why I'll say it, and then he'll be like, and I'll be
it
like,
goes
well,
back to
we're
the,
done here.
to the Super Bowl T-shirt thing.
Here's the thing, Kenny. I want the truth. I can't handle the truth.
Oh, okay.
Few good men.
But like
Sorry.
the Super Bowl T-shirt
Sorry.
stuff,
It's awesome.
I completely get. You're right. It's not the best thing to donate shirts. Other countries need other stuff, but they still do it. And the fact they still do it, you're just like, nope, they can't do it. There's no reason they would do it. I'm like, but they still do, Tom.
I don't think they do, though. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
but it does. They've come out and said, yes, we still do.
Yeah, but there's no
'Cause you-
proof of it is what we were saying.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you have to think of the backlash if they were to say, yeah, we destroy these shirts because countries don't need
No,
shirts.
they'll never
Well,
say
that's
what
I'm
they're
saying.
really doing.
Well, that's my whole point. They
I
say
actually
they do
agree
it,
with
they're
him on this
lying.
one. I actually agree with him on this one
Okay,
because
but
where
what's
are the shirts?
What's the proof of the lying?
Because we don't see them anywhere.
Okay.
In today's age, there's nowhere to donate that many
who's-
shirts that they
Who's
wouldn't.
visiting poverty-stricken Estonia to prove them?
They got cell phone cameras.
I don't know, I kinda-
Everybody's got the internet.
I kind
Not
of feel
where
like
they're
Dave
donating shirts.
Portnoy from Barstool would go do this, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the guy standing in Africa when they deliver the shirts.
He'd
and he's-
probably sexually assault some women too along the way.
And the thing is,
I
some-
hate him.
Or does he have those things behind?
I hate
Oh
him.
yeah, that's right. I shouldn't have brought him up.
Here-
Sorry, Kenny.
I
Tracy
they-
disagrees with you. Kenny disagrees with you. I actually agree with Tom on this one because where's the proof of the shirts? If you show me a couple of the shirts, then I'll be on your side.
Okay. Let's say there's whether there's proof or there's not proof. You're basically saying, hey, the only source of information is us saying we're doing it. That is literally the only source of information you have.
Yes.
And you're saying, I will not accept that. Therefore, why even ask why? If the only available source of information is telling you the answer and you don't believe it, then people get frustrated.
Here's what you misunderstand, Kenny. My questioning
I like
is
the tension on this episode. I
is
like this.
is really just telling people the truth. You see what I'm saying? I'm not questioning anything. I already know, and I'm phrasing it as a
So you're a
question.
know-it-all.
Yes, Daniel
I
knows.
got to. I got to.
Daniel
I
knows
figured it out.
exactly
He's a
what it is.
know-it-all.
I'm saying,
Yeah, yeah.
wait
This
a
is why
minute.
you guys are in business together.
I'm-
It really is. I mean, I know this guy.
And everybody hates a know-it-all.
I don't hate you, buddy.
Anyway, but I just going back to that. It's one of those shirts did pop up one time, and it was on eBay, and that's when they put it into it. I'm thinking, I'm just guessing.
You're thinking, but you don't know.
My
No, we don't know.
Well, my theory with the evidence of wait a minute, if they were able to take a couple hundred of these shirts, let's say 400, with the whole.
Which, by the way, it's a lot more because you have to realize they love money. They're going to sell it to the fans. So it's not just a couple hundred. It's
Okay.
a couple thousand
All right, so
of
look,
shirts out
this
there.
even verifies my point and my theory even more. So a couple thousand shirts, where are they going to donate those to? Because they're all worth way more than because everybody wants to get their hands
It's
on.
a weird one-off.
Yeah, it's a one-off shirt. Like a three-peat Chiefs shirt would be worth probably $50 to $150 on eBay at the least, right?
Yeah, but you also have to realize if it's not real, if it's not genuine, it devalues all of those shirts over time.
No.
I think it makes it cooler.
Yes, they're rare.
Yeah, it's
and
like a
people
misprint.
like
I look at it like a misprint on
Yes.
a baseball card. Those don't go down
Yeah,
in value.
yeah, but
Dude, you know how valuable that shirt would be
But-
online to a Kansas City Chiefs
but
fan. They'd buy it
if
for
you're
the novelty.
but if you're the NFL, you want to maintain the prestige of the champion.
Yeah, but you don't want them out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why they don't give them. They burn them. They
No.
don't even put them out because they would get loose because they're worth
I hate that I'm agreeing with Tom.
a
on
ton
this
of
one.
money. So
I'm staying out of it though because
I
it's
don't think
unfair.
you
so
realize.
anybody around the village that they donated them to with a phone would be like, go to the village and be
No.
like, hey, I'll give you.
We're gonna have to find these shirts,
the
or we're gonna keep
place-
going in
money for-
circles. The chat room's saying we can't circle
the
again.
places
You can't find
they're
them.
donating them to, you don't realize how vast this earth is, Tom. The places they're donating them to are so remote and far away from anything that it's if you're
There's no remoteness anymore.
you have no concept if you're in the middle of nowhere island in the Indian Ocean. You have no concept of what the NFL is. So you get this T-shirt and you're wearing it. Who's gonna be like, let me take a photo of that shirt? No one knows what that is.
But they're not loading these shirts on a plane and flying them to the most remote island in the Indian Ocean. They're just giving them to a company,
this-
and the
I don't-
companies distribute them.
I don't think the guy from The Gods Must Be Crazy is getting one of these shirts. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Like I go with Tom on this one because I don't. If there are thousands of shirts and only one has popped up on eBay, then maybe what Tom's saying is wrong, and maybe what you're saying is wrong too. But I want to know, my side of it is, then where are the goddamn shirts?
These
Because
shirts are worth
with
money.
the way that people treat scams, like I know so many people that scam rather than getting real jobs, right? And you mean to tell me that one of those scam people isn't flying to one of these countries and trying to get these shirts?
Yeah, because
I think they
got a
are.
bunch. You could sell them for a bunch of money. I mean,
because it's not just the shirts too, it's a bunch of hats and other apparel and stuff.
yeah.
And I mean, USA Today legitimately did an article talking about the process of where it ends up
A
going.
liberal bird.
They
cage
partnered with an
wrapper
organization
paper.
called
I'm
Good.
kidding. I'm joking.
It's an organization
joking
called
around.
Good 360.
Not my USA Today.
What kind of USA are we talking about? Because I don't like it today.
That's USA yesterday.
Make USA yesterday. That's gonna have that says "Make USA yesterday." I would sell them. Would you buy one of my hats?
I'll buy that T-shirt.
It would be
You just did the RoboCop guy. I'll buy that for $1.
So Make USA
What
yesterday
are we on drugs today?
would be a
No.
Mousse shirt.
What's
I'd buy a Mousse, M-U-S-A-Y, M-U-S-A-Y. Make USA yesterday.
And there's no way to find this out because, again, I believe.
Look at the organization called Good 360. That is literally who is donating them.
Yeah. But then if you try to find who, they want to keep it a secret. And that's the thing. There's no secrets anymore. That's all I'm saying. Is that
Or there is.
No, bro, what secrets are there? There's the internet. It tells you everything.
Hey, what's out there that I don't know about? Tell me things that aren't known.
Why aren't there a bunch of social media pictures of people wearing the Chiefs 3-peat Super Bowl shirt?
Because they're donating them to places that could give a crap, such as middle of nowhere Mongolia, Georgia, Estonia, and Latvia.
Yeah, there's people there with cell phones connected to the internet.
But I follow a
And
lot of
social media.
OnlyFans models in Latvia.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women with cameras in Latvia, man.
And the shirts are valuable. For sure, you'd be like, see a kid wear that. You'd be like, hey, I want to sell this on eBay. It would pop up on the internet. There's no hiding from the internet anymore. That's all I'm saying. I was like, that's what led me to believe, they can't donate these shirts. They don't want them out there. So they just say they donate them to.
Okay, this is a video.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and
Yeah.
I'm literally looking at eBay has 3-peat shirts for the Chiefs.
Okay, look, here's the
Are they
shirt.
the actual ones printed?
Hold
by
on,
them?
this is like somebody did a video. Let's see what this person says. I don't know if this is true or not,
Okay,
but it's like a
And it is
Now that the Eagles won, what happens to all the unsold Super Bowl merch for the Chiefs? I'll explain. To prepare for both outcomes, the NFL pre-produces championship merchandise for both competing teams. So there are tons of Chiefs Super Bowl Champs 2025 merch that is essentially unsellable. Once the Super Bowl concludes, the unsellable merchandise is collected and sent to a
When they say essentially unsellable, that's where I disagree. I think they're valuable. And you could sell them for way more than the Eagles championship shirt because they're so
But
rare.
again, if
and
you're
it's
the NFL, you have this air of prestige that
and you don't want them out. That's why you burn them.
let's see
Now,
what they say
I will-
here.
I will say-
this is just from 3 weeks ago,
Okay,
so
all
I
right.
think this was trying to be like
I'm reading articles, from that same
pertinent
time.
to it. Maybe this will end the discussion finally.
distribution center on the east coast of the United States. From there, Good 360,
Thank
a
you.
nonprofit organization specializing in product philanthropy, oversees the shipment of these items to vetted nonprofit partners around the globe. The losing team's merchandise is then distributed to various countries across the globe, including Ukraine, Mongolia, Georgia, Estonia, and Latvia. The donation provides essential clothing to individuals and families in vulnerable communities. Additionally, the NFL and Good 360 prevent thousands of items from ending up in landfills. The NFL has strict rules preventing the losing team's merchandise from entering secondary markets, such as eBay or clearance racks, to maintain the integrity of its brand. Because the rules and processes are strictly designed to keep Super Bowl
So, like, the real question to me is, well, then where? I want to see one of these shirts, and then I'll believe it. Everything that's saying, and you and everybody. I'll believe it 1,000,000%.
But what if they don't want the design out there, so then someone copies it and makes their own shirts?
Well,
That's not as valuable. I want the shirts made.
But you don't. But how do you know? That's what I'm saying. Like, and also if you're the NFL, you're sue crazy, so you have it under lock and key. You're a multi-billion-dollar entity. You have the ability to keep it under lock and key.
Yeah, but if I'm the NFL, I'm like, oh God, now I have to spend a bunch of lawyer time getting all these shirts off of eBay, whatever. Just burn them.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We say they donate them, and then guess what? What everybody doesn't realize is this is what they say. You understand how big corporations work? They put out on media what they want people to
we know
believe.
that because the stuff that we tell our listeners is certainly not what we're doing.
Of course.
And
That's
we
how
are
it works.
honest with our listeners. Like, we tell our listeners, we're like, we lie to you so much. We're always lying to you. We're lying to you right now.
You're taking the George Costanza effect where it's like, okay, if someone tells you the reason why, just believe the opposite.
No, I'm saying that the NFL and some decision makers, like, listen, I don't want to start suing a bunch of people because, like, the Ukraine, I see soldiers in Ukraine videotaping themselves in war.
Well,
The
tons
amount
of
of-
OnlyFans models in Ukraine.
The amount of work it's going to take to fight it legally is less effort than the headache and the bad press and the awfulness of someone finding out that they actually burn the shirts and don't donate them. That is going to damage the NFL more than the amount of work of getting lawyers who are already on retainer to go out there and blank their blank.
I've thought about that. And
how much to get a ticket to Ukraine and wait for these shirts? Because I'll go there and just get a couple of these and fly back.
I'll go to Latvia.
Yeah, let's do it.
And again, I have thought about that, but it still doesn't explain why these shirts don't end up on social media and for sale everywhere. And
AI
we don't see
algorithm
them.
to ping them before they go. Like, they have a partnership with eBay, and if eBay flags it ahead of time, you can't post it because it's using an AI to already.
There's so many other things, though, Kenny, we can't lock down. You know what I mean? And we can lock down these NFL shirts. We lock them down, man. They're not even making it out of Ukraine. Only people wear them. There's no photos of them. How do they lock that down? Don't know, but they did it.
Because people actually care about this compared to anything else that gets leaked.
No,
Maybe.
it's the least charitable thing in the world. Donating a shirt doesn't do anything for these people.
And I understand
they
that.
don't want shirts.
I understand that, but the NFL, for some reason, cares the most about it.
It's a lie. I'll find out one day.
You know what?
I'll show you, Kenny.
I'm going to help you, Kenny, because I did like your argument. I love that you brought the video. We played it. We got a little deeper in the mud. The argument still stands. We will get to the bottom of it this year. We're trying to buy one of those shirts. If you buy one, I'll expense you back. I'll expense you back if you find one.
The 70s music in the background really made me happy.
Let's buy it.
I'll pay $500 to anybody who could find a Kansas City Chiefs three-peat
a real
official
one. No,
one.
it's got to be from the NFL.
But it's also, how do you know? How do you know if it's real or
No,
not?
because I can go look at what the NFL, like, because there's official printed NFL stuff, and you'll be like, oh, this is official.
I know.
Like jerseys and things.
They
like
sell
a
some
bootleg.
garbage out
I can
there.
tell. I'm a pinnacle of quality. I can tell. You get it in front of me, I can tell.
That's you got an Outcash Falcon
I
shirt.
do. I buy a lot of high-quality hoodies.
And the person you got it from would say, oh, I got this from this village that gets donated. You know what I'm saying? They'd have some sort of story about where they got it from, right? And then we could track it a little bit.
If it were true. Now, I'm not saying it's not true.
I'm going to work with Eric the Merchman to come up with this fabricated story. And
thousands of shirts and hats we just don't see. They're like,
that's all I'm saying. I'm
the
not
village
saying
is
you're
too
lying.
deep in the jungle.
Yeah. Sorry, by the time they make it out, their shirts fall off. Like, I don't know. What are you talking about? Like, what are we talking about here?
And we give them thousands of shirts and hats every year, and they never run out.
You know what? They're so dumb, they eat the shirts. Oh, that's how they're savages. The savages
and that's
eat
all
the
they
shirts.
need.
Like, what are we doing here?
They're so cold in the jungle. We need more shirts.
They burn the shirts. They burn the shirts for fuel. That's how stupid they are. What are we doing?
All right. Well, let's get out of here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
It's such a good ending. All right, good job, Kenny. I'm glad you pushed back on that because I love that argument because I would have. I do want to buy one. We're gonna find out.
I bet something for like a hat, they probably de-stitch it. Like something like a hat, they probably don't donate because that's easy to to unstitch.
That's tonight. Yeah.
So I can see if it's like something that's embroidered. Oh, they probably destroy it by like removing all of the insignia from it. It's just the screen printed shirts would be the only ones that would be difficult to destroy.
But even to de-stitch a bunch of garbage, it's like just burn it all. You know what I'm saying? or like donate it to the company so we could have our because there's also and this happens all the time where it's lawyer talk. It's like, well, we donated to the company. We don't know what they did, but there's a behind the deal handshake. Like, oh yeah,
I would accept. Hey, the NFL doesn't destroy it. This good 360 company destroys it. That one, I would believe in that conspiracy theory.
And then they.
I even think it's as bad as Good 360 because I looked at their website, but again, their website's great, but there's not one picture of anybody in Tanzania wearing an older NFL shirt that never happened. I think that what if Good 360 does take the shirts and they do go to Ukraine, but as soon as they come off the ship, whatever in Ukraine, they're burned right there in Ukraine.
In front of a poor family.
No, they're just not needed. It's just we.
No, I know. I like the imagery of like this poor family just sitting there, like.
But they're Chiefs fans too.
Ah, damn it!
Because wouldn't there be some social media video of the employees donating the shirts? And I know even if it's like, oh, it's against the rules. Oh, you know how many things end up on social media that's against the rules? Like, you know what I'm saying? The rules didn't stop the employee from videotaping. Like, I'm giving this kid a Chiefs three-peat
to that point, from working with the NBA, there have been a lot of people that have gotten fired for doing that, and they scrubbed that image or that video off the internet immediately. So I could see a thing where it's like, let's say someone did post it, that person immediately would be fired, never work with that organization again.
And I don't even think that the NFL is worried about that much backlash if someone did find out they were destroying the shirts and they weren't donating them, because it would be an easy thing to explain where like there's too many shirts, no one even needs shirts, and or we can't have these out.
Yeah, or they do the thing where it's just like, no, we donated it, we did our due diligence. It's not our fault that this terrible company is burning them.
I honestly think no one's ever asked but me. Like no one, right? Everybody just accepted the lie, right? And I'm telling you,
you're a truth seeker.
I'm me. I'm different. I ask the tough questions.
I'll say things different. I'm a truth seeker.
Even that TikTok video, they're just regurgitating the bullshit the NFL puts out. Like they donate the shirts to Good 360 and but no one's ever like, yeah, but why don't we see them anywhere? And they're like, oh, they're deep in a fucking village. No one has cell phones. I'm like.
Convenient.
Everybody, I see a kid with an AK shooting it with Tommy Hilfiger shorts. And he's got a cell phone. Everybody's got cell phones.
We think that there's just a box of shirts and all the shirts are going to one village. What if they sprinkle 2 shirts per pallet? And that's what's getting spread all around. So you'll never see it. The odds of you finding it, because it's not concentrated.
That's
good. It's not concentrated. So that way the volunteers or the charity has no idea
that's a better
where
argument.
the Super Bowl shirts are.
First, that's a lot of extra work. Second,
I don't think it is.
You still got those shirts out there. There's still thousands of them out there.
But the odds that you would find it is less because it's not concentrated.
But someone would tell. That's the thing. That's why conspiracy theories don't work when in grand scale, because people fucking tell each other shit.
You're literally believing a conspiracy theory of destruction.
This is not really conspiracy. This is just straight corporate business. I've seen before, like a corporation.
Yeah, like he's going off of, if I can speak Tom for a second, he's going off of Clear Channel if they need to clean out the supply closet because they're putting in new stuff. And there's a stack of St. Patrick's Day Blarney Bash cups in there. I mean, 400 perfectly good plastic cups that you can make drinks in, that Clear Channel would look at those cups and be like, yeah, destroy those, get those out of there, because they have the wrong date, they have the wrong sponsors, they have the wrong name on them. We don't want them, and we've seen them just throw them in, like just trash them. right in the trash.
But I've also seen companies that take that and they're just like, just give them out again anyway.
No, it's just, and then the value of the shirt, and this is where I could be wrong because
We're waiting on Science Center, right?
Yeah, we'll just talk shit until they get here.
Perfect.
But and I could be totally wrong about the value of these shirts because who did we bring this up with? Vince Taylor, because Vince was like, "Oh, I wouldn't want that because it's like a fake shirt and it's like
Yeah, because if you're a huge fan, you're gonna get clowned because people know that they didn't three-peat.
But everybody, like, I feel like a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I'd want that shirt. If the Dolphins made the Super Bowl and didn't win, and I'd want the Super Bowl championship Dolphins shirt just to
the
fuck
Belichick's
around.
girlfriend shirt, I'd rather have it than her. It means more to me than it does to her.
And especially if someone could
Fuck
prove,
her.
like, hey, this is the one they really printed. Like, I'd pay $150 for that shirt.
That's true, but
Just,
you
you know.
also don't hang out with groups of people. Like, let's say you had a Dolphins fan. You don't hang out with, like, asshole Jets fans who would literally just clown you all the time.
Yeah,
and,
but
like,
that's what I live to do is piss off Jets fans. You see what I'm saying? Like, as other teams, like, I want to piss off the Jets.
But they'd have the upper hand because they, like, you
No,
didn't actually win that.
It's trolling, Kenny. Trolling is so fun. It's trolling the other.
That's a weak troll. That's an EJ level troll.
No.
Ha! Take that, EJ.
Hold on, I'm a weak troll.
And
Oh.
I could
Thank you.
I could be wrong, but I'm right.
You know who said that? Do you know who said that? That's a very famous. Well, her version was different. That's a Roseanne Barr.
Oh yeah, me and
That's a Roseanne Barr.
Me and Barr.
Like, yeah, she was like she would say it. It was one of her comedy lines. She'd be like, "What is it you make? What did you just say?"
I could be wrong, but I'm right.
I think that's what she said. I might have to go back and say, "You are my Roseanne Barr." That makes me big fat, not entertaining at all.
John Goodman?
No, it makes
Dan
me
Connor.
No,
Tom Arnold.
Thank you.
And I will die believing this until someone proves me wrong.
Okay,
That's it. Yeah.
Is that all? Is that it?
And I've searched.
You should have walked out. That'd have been awesome if you like just walked out.
Or it pulls out a gun, just kills
Yeah,
himself,
yeah,
just be
yeah.
like, yep, that's it. That's my life.
Because I just it goes back to the no secrets. Everything's on the internet. You could find everything if it's out there. And I'm like, wait
Well,
a minute,
I've
why
got some
can't we
secrets
find
you
this?
guys don't know that
See,
are not on the internet.
and I understand
they're
on-
all up here.
I understand on a grand level, but then every once in a while you get that, oh my God, we had no idea this thing happened with that person or that company. You know what I mean? And you had like absolutely no idea. It's not frequent. It's not all the time, but every once in a while you get that where it's like, holy crap, no one saw that coming.
They
Yeah,
found
that-
a new dinosaur yesterday, so there you go.
That could be true, yeah, and I are surprised every once in a while. But with this and the amount, I'm like, wait a minute. After all these years, all these shirts and hats and memorabilia that are supposedly donated, and the fact that everybody has a cell phone, everybody has got the internet, everybody,
Oh my
you know,
God.
and I
So-
say everybody, but surrounding
David
areas.
Hasselhoff's ex-wife blew her head off.
But you also have to realize,
man.
too, people in these other areas that may have cell phones may not care about the NFL or even know that it's valuable.
That's the thing, but they can look on the internet and see it's valuable.
No, but to them, if someone walked in with a random Brazilian soccer club that you've never seen or heard of in your life, but you know it's a Brazilian soccer club, you may not know that that's the equivalent in Brazil of their fake championship shirt. You would have no idea. Just like someone in Estonia, okay, they've heard of the NFL, they've heard of the Chiefs. They don't know about the three-peat or what it means or the fact that the Super Bowl, championship is that grand.
But someone around them does, and they no, it's valuable, and they're like, hey, I'll buy this
We
shirt
can
for
only go back around again if one of you guys bring something new. If you bring in evidence,
I will say, from the article I read, they only started doing that since 97. So before then, they would destroy everything. Now
which really does make me think they still do it, and they just
And then they started giving them out,
They
and then
spin the narrative.
And then all of a sudden they ended up on the internet. They're like, oh shit, the internet. Go back to destroy them.
Which is
just
said
forgot.
every day a lot.
Oh,
by the
shit,
way.
the internet.
Oh shit, the internet.
And then they're like, just put it out that we donate them easier. Because what I know about corporations is they want easy and cheap. And the cheapest, easiest thing for them to do is just destroy it all. Although I will say to sell them for charity would be cool. And then
Well, that was the idea you and I were talking about, is that like you could actually, for super fans, if you like took out, let's say you
why not
singled
sell them
out,
for charity?
but not all of them too, because you still want them to have a certain amount of rarity. So you pull out like, I don't know, 25 of them, and you put them up for auction bid for for super fans that want to buy the shirt.
Yeah, because who cares?
Orlando City does it.
And another,
Or MLS teams will take like a one-off, you know, shirt. That
See, if it's a one-off, yeah, I could see that. There's also the theory, and it kind of goes like, if you've ever gone to like a high school football game, and then at the end of the day, the concession stand has a whole bunch of hot dogs, and they'll just give them away. But once people start realizing that, well, then no one's going to buy a hot dog during the game if they know they can just wait till the end. So to that theory,
that's a great idea.
yeah, they could probably
I'm
do
gonna
a
start going to
charity
high
or
school
do whatever.
football games.
But at a certain extent, you'd be like, well, if we keep doing this, then no one's going to actually buy the other merchandise if they know they can just wait and potentially win it afterwards at a cheaper price.
Yeah. That's why some of the tents at Surf Expo, because they don't want to take the stuff home at the end of the day, you'll see them out in the parking lot smashing all the skateboards and destroying them. I'm sorry. I'm in a weird mood today, and that would make me laugh. If I walked out there and saw some guy breaking surfboards and destroying all the stuff, instead of giving it to people, I'd be like, what are you doing? And that is the reason why maybe I like this topic so much, is because there's a part of me that really wants them to burn the shirts. You know what I mean?
I still think it'd be
funnier
like
if they do.
You find some little kid that like has been saving up his money for a skateboard and still can't afford it, and then goes to afterwards just smashes the skateboard.
Hey,
in front of
Ryan
him.
did the thing my wife did. Speaking of old food, he says, a few weeks ago I got 17 bagels for $9 from Jeff's through Too Good to Go. Yeah, that's
someone posted that
Andrea
on the.
loves Too Good to Go. My wife is always getting raccoon dumpster food for like, and it's great food.
But what's crazy is like.
Spencer, what's up, buddy?
Oh, okay. There. I was like, I invited someone to use it, but they lived in like Ocala, so all there was like Circle K.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
but
just like,
7-Eleven. Andrea hit me with 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven had like a whole thing of taquitos, and I was like, what? I'll get a whole box of taquitos for like $3. Yeah, dude. Too Good to Go is hilarious.
It's awesome.
Good to see you, dude. Great job today. That was super funny. Whoa, I like your pants.
MJ, man.
Oh, okay.
It was my MJ pants.
Totally get it. Totally get it. Those are wild. I gotta step up my game. See you, dude. That was funny. Yeah, Too Good to Go is rad. Andrea got croissant gourmet. We got a bunch of stuff. What's up, man? You ever been there? No. It's a nice, just like a little pastry shop place, and they do this. There's this app called Too Good to Go, where at the end of the day, when restaurants are wanting to dump all their stuff, they'll offer it up on there, and you can get like rad stuff for like very little money. Really? So we got like from Croissant Gourmet, we got like 2 croissants, a cheese Danish. My daughter's a pastry person. All these different things that she would like, and it was like a huge box of French pastries for like $4.
Where is this?
Well, it's an app. Get the app. Too Good to Go. It's just, yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, when they want to get rid of their food, like let's
So
say
it's
if there
like
was a
various-
soup place and they were getting, like some Chinese restaurants around here, and look, man, our Asian food around here is rad. They'll give you a blind box. It's just like, they'll just like, it'll be like $6, which is like nothing.
Right.
And they'll give you like noodles, protein, a salad, a soup, because
Right.
they're just getting rid of whatever they have.
That's really interesting. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's cool.
That wins for everybody. That's great.
Pretty much, man. Good to see you. We are on Twitch and YouTube. I'll fix your camera. There he is. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
How are you?
Yellow.
Stuck in a traffic
You're
jam
fine.
in the Science Center.
Oh, well, that's a
In
good
the
thing,
Science
right?
Center itself.
Hey, if you're at your own place of business
Right.
and you need bodies in there and you can't get out, that's a good problem to have, I
Yeah.
guess.
You know, I left my office at like 10 after and sat in the garage for like 12 minutes.
Well, we
Oh,
are
that's what the
glad
ground
to
floor is
see you.
for.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys. You
Yes.
been well?
Yeah, hanging.
We're on Twitch and YouTube.
Hanging
I always
tough.
like giving you the
Hello,
the,
Twitch and YouTube.
the spiel.
No, just been busy, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
How are you?
We are. You know what? I'm good. I'm getting a new hip on March 11th.
Oh, look at that.
I'm excited
That's
about
coming
that.
up.
That's science.
Are you aware?
I'm working the day before and hopefully working the day after. I want to see if I can do it.
Can you work during?
Well, I wanted
You
to.
wanna
That could be
Yeah,
some
he's trying to
content. I mean,
I wanted Andrew to drop
Yeah.
him off here
Well,
on the way home from the hospital.
I mean, I think my surgery is at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So which means I'll be up at like 3 or something because I got to wash my body and with the special
with that
soap.
stuff.
Yeah, you got to wash with the special soap, and then you got to wear clean pajamas. There's a
Yeah.
whole
There's
you-
a whole thing.
There's a whole thing about. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, man. I don't think anybody on the battlefield where they're having a leg amputated is like, oh, you use your special soap.
Right.
You know, like it's wild. But I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I I also don't like washing my body or the body part they're going to do surgery on.
neither.
Because I'm like, what am I paying you for?
Aren't you giving me a new one? It's like washing your car before
yeah.
you take it in to get
Yeah.
like body work done.
You wash it.
Going inside
They
anyway.
always send that orderly in to work you over like you're at Superwash.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
No?
You're the orderly. No.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
I tell you.
And save
What is
money.
the
And then
world
my
gone to?
wife has her name is she is my joint and flexibility coordinator.
Oh,
That's what they call the person that lives with you that you'll be complaining to when you're.
sounds
Oh.
intriguing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they call your joint and rehabilitation coordinator or whatever they call. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty-
We
yeah.
need a fun acronym for that.
Yeah, it's just a mom.
Yeah, that'll do it,
wife.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good to see you guys.
Yeah, nice
Yeah,
to see
definitely,
you.
you
Thanks
too.
for
What are we
working us
talking
in.
today?
It is spring. We want
License
to talk
to Spy,
spring
yeah.
break. We've got top secret exhibit. We've got spring break camps. We've got superhero weekend coming up.
Okay.
All right.
Spring break. Get out of your house and into the science center.
There you
Perfect,
go. All
perfect.
right. Would you like to begin, my friend?
Yeah.
Is this airing this week or next week?
This weekend, Friday.
All
We're
right.
going to put it
You
Friday.
will be
tomorrow.
Lovely.
You will
Thank
be.
you.
God, tomorrow's Friday. Holy crap! It is getting
Yep.
close to my surgery.
Yeah, Tuesday's coming up, sir.
All right. You bring us or start us, please.
Yep.
Here we go. In 3.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. We'd love it if you join us. Just search for @Tom and Dan Live.
Spencer and Jeff are here from the Orlando
Hi.
Science Center.
Hey.
Do it.
How you guys doing?
Nice.
So let's talk the Orlando Science Center because it's about to be spring break, and if you're looking for something to do with your kids,
Don't let your kids be bored. Don't be that person.
then the Science Center is the perfect place to go for spring break because there's, you could go there every day,
Yes,
and
you
your
can.
kids can do something
Right.
new every single day.
Raise your hand if you've done double days at the Science Center.
No, I haven't
yeah,
done
I know
that.
you
You
have.
know.
I think we've done them
Yeah,
together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great place to go for kids of all ages, including me.
And are there still camp spaces available?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Tom, because spring break's this interesting thing, right? Some people go out of town and some people just kind of work through it, and then the kids are stuck at home. So good when school's out, OSC is the place to be because we've got camps for kids, kindergarten up through 5th grade. There's still spots available. Really cool camps, all themed around the new Top Secret exhibit, which looks at spy technology and applies things like critical thinking and code breaking and solving mysteries. So yeah, there's definitely some spots. You need to check it out. You can find it on our camps page of the website, osc.org, or you can even just give us a call at 407-514-2000 and just say, tell me about spring break camps. But it's a great option, especially for working parents.
Code breaking.
Yeah.
My great grandmother, Native American, was one of the
Was she one
original
of the wind
wind
talkers?
talkers, an
Nice.
original wind talker. Yeah.
Dolly is crazy.
I'm
Don't fall
you,
for it,
man.
Jeff.
But Jeff and I linked up.
Yeah,
Yeah, he knew he was
yeah,
going to say
yeah.
wind talker. He knew he was going to say wind talker. God, I love you, Jeff.
Yeah, don't underestimate Top Secret. That thing's really cool. It's like an escape room, but more science-y, and it's so good. There's like so much content in there. You can go in there and spend 2 hours just hanging out in our traveling exhibit. Even if you've been to all the other stuff, don't go to an escape room. Come to a cheaper place and do the same kind of stuff.
Yeah,
for even better.
I love
It's
that.
awesome.
Plus, well, that's a bad word, but it's not a bad word. But I was gonna say playability of your exhibit seems to be a thing. Like that Guinness exhibit that I know is now no longer there, but like
Yeah.
that thing. I mean,
was
it was
awesome.
almost like you couldn't make it through every installation.
yeah.
So is that something that when you guys are looking at bringing in new attractions, new things for kids and adults to look at, like, are you finding that it seems like they're packing a lot more into these type of
It's
deals?
important. And play is not a bad word, It's just like we all learn more while we're having fun. And if it's not cool, if it's not interesting, people aren't going to do it.
Yeah.
So the best exhibits really are fun. They are playable. They are appealing to multiple generations. And all that cool stuff is wrapped around some fun learning. And Top Secret does that really well. Guinness was really awesome with that. We loved having Guinness with us. And Top Secret is a great follow-up to that because it's got this cool retro James Bond, Austin Powers
Nice.
kind of vibe. But all the activities, while it's wrapped in this mystery of spies and solve who stole the quantum computer.
I don't know if
It
you know
is-
this. You are sitting in
yes.
front of Castleberry Austin Powers.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am presence of
That makes me mini-me. I'm taking
Behave.
that one. I'm taking that
That's
one.
huge.
Yeah.
Take the power
Congrats.
away. Take the
But it's
power
just like while you're in this cool exhibit and you're solving these codes and breaking these puzzles, you're learning really important STEM skills about critical thinking and collaboration and communication. And so it's this cool science exhibit that's just a lot of fun and it's got cool spy stuff.
Let's talk Wind Talkers for a second. They
Yeah,
had, they
Well,
had,
they were using their
Hold
we were
on.
using their language to try as a new code, right?
Yes,
It was
yeah,
cool.
they were using
which
the
I think
the
that's
old
fantastic.
Indian, yeah, I think it was Navajo language. Or
Yeah, and that's
as a
true,
code.
real American
Yeah.
words. So to me, like, of course, no one else is going to know that because that's as American as it
Yeah,
gets.
it's
I
pretty
love
much.
that story.
we had the technology to build an atom bomb, but we didn't have the technology to code talking on walkie-talkies back and forth to the point where we had to find like Native Americans that knew their ancient language.
It's just like virtually
And-
unbreakable.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Because
there's
it
no,
was so truly unique.
yeah, it puts use some computers.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty wild to think about.
You know, you can split the atom here.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
So let's talk the universe with Spencer for a second.
Let's do it.
because
My
Oh, is that our new
favorite
show? It's
holiday.
the universe.
Well, let's,
Yeah,
but let's
do a whole
talk it
segment.
just in Navajo.
All right, you start.
So
Oh man, back in the day, you do know that Tom's family
Well-
for 38 years told him he was a Native American.
well, everybody in Florida.
You know
did.
that, right? Not me. Not me. I was never told. They told me they're like, we're from Germany, Art,
Yeah.
and you are as white as it gets, and you're premature, and you almost died. So, like, you know.
So we'll start with what's closest to us, the moon.
Yeah.
The second private moon landing happened.
Huge deal.
On Monday, I believe, and the third is going to happen today, as we talk.
I didn't know
Is
that.
it, I think it's happened, or it's
It may
happening.
have already
I think it was
happened,
like
yeah.
12:30. I forgot to check on my
So
way
we're
in.
having so many moon landings now that I can't even keep up with them. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they're not foot on the ground landings,
Yeah.
but they're still cool enough.
I think it's just as cool, man. I'm sure they got video of it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're like the size of a compact car, and
What kind? Like a Fiat?
I don't know. They didn't. They just said compact car. I was glad you asked because
Yeah,
I
some
looked at it. I
Mini
was like,
Coopers.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah,
compact
Mini
cars.
Cooper.
Yeah.
You know
Probably
what I
Mini
don't
Cooper
like?
size.
There's
Jeff,
the
I'm gonna tell you what I
Urkel
don't. I don't like the Mini Cooper. They have a big Mini Cooper.
How
that
big?
kind of defeats the purpose.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well,
so is
have
that
a
an
big Mini
so it's
Cooper.
a Maxi Cooper? Is
It,
that
it's
what-
a. I think it's like it's the Mini Cooper. I think it's called Big Country or something like that. It's like the
I've heard
Mini
of this.
Cooper,
Yeah, yeah.
Big Country.
So my question to Spencer is, they send these up there, and there's always like part of the story is like, oh yeah, we have a drill, we have a vacuum to vacuum up some moon dust, and they're like, we're gonna do some other
Say
experiments.
fragments. That sounds.
Yeah,
fancy.
yeah.
Don't say dust.
And then they're really interested. I guess this new mission that's landing today has got a ice drill because they want
Ooh.
to land it on like the south
I've
pole
seen
of the
those
moon.
in the magazines.
Because they believe that there's ice on the moon, and they want to drill down to find it, right? So my question to you,
What
Spencer,
do we do
is,
with moon ice?
well,
Put it in your drink.
Yeah. Oh man, that's what rich people do. Holy
Yeah,
smokes,
yeah,
if
right.
you're
More
drinking a
moon
drink.
ice,
Oh, that's a
Reginald.
huge
Yeah,
deal.
like
Chef, if
spring
we got
bottle
some
of
moon
moon
ice.
water.
Man, that'd be awesome.
and Spencer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I
will.
thought we knew what the moon was made of, and it is made of Earth because the moon was created when a giant asteroid crashed into molten lava Earth and broke off some molten lava, and then it basically just reformed into our moon, blah, 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 millions of years later. And now we got this moon. So essentially, it's going to have exactly what ancient Earth had,
Yeah.
which I guess is kind of interesting, but it's like...
Are you saying this is not interesting? Is it a long-winded way of saying it's not
And
interesting?
that's the end of it. Let's move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you
Just
think,
not
Spencer?
interesting.
Not interesting?
It's not good. Let's move
Could
on.
they
Yeah, you could have just said this isn't for me.
is there something I'm missing, and they actually could find something interesting in the moon, or is it just going to be more of what we know?
Yeah, I mean, it's for sure more of what you know. Here's the thing. Do we even know what the Earth is fully made of, right? We know we got the iron in there. We got, like, this core that is probably molten or something, but we don't really know that much about our own planet. I would honestly assume that we're going to learn more about the composition of our planet by studying the moon because of that impact you're talking about than we would even know, because we can't drill that far into the dang planet. You know, we're limited by, I think Russia's got the deepest hole at some couple of miles, but we've got another 1,000 miles left to drill, right? So the moon's easier to drill on, honestly. I mean, I would bet that we might actually learn a bit about Earth a little bit from this kind of mission, which would be interesting.
Didn't they, like 2 weeks ago or something? Because I always try to like flag science news, and this one they slipped through the cracks. But didn't they just recently drill and pull up a sample and study it? And they're like, oh, well, this is kind of changing the way we thought about some of the elements, or as we got closer to the center of the Earth or to the core.
I haven't heard about this one.
I think there's I'll see if I can find it. But there was a story about like they pulled up something, and they don't exactly know what the difference is, but they know that they're seeing something that they'd never seen before.
Interesting.
So that's kind of what I think they're looking for. They may not exactly even know what it is they're looking at.
They're probably just also looking to see how much water is there. That's such the annoying part about loving space. And they're just like, yeah, Mars has liquid water under these ice caps, but is it like a pool of water? Is it like an ocean of water? We don't really know like how much of this water ice is actually up there. We kind of just assume it's there. We've got satellites that show like green glowy bits because it's water and it glows a little bit differently. But
and didn't they see
we got to
like
get hands on
tide markings? They thought
maybe on the moon.
Not on the moon,
on
on Mars.
I was going to say,
on
like,
Mars.
No, absolutely. On Mars, all over the place. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mars is just full of running water of evidence everywhere across the entire surface. It's wild.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Mars because that's going to be my next question.
Of course.
So,
Are you mad about Mars too?
Well, much like most Americans, Joe Rogan is basically a scientist to me.
Okay. All right.
That's how that works, right?
And I saw a clip on TikTok.
And you know what? He looks like a scientist. the most red scientist. That man is so red.
Yeah.
Check your blood pressure.
So I saw a clip on TikTok where Joe Rogan's like, "Look at this square on Mars," and then he was with some other guy. I don't know.
Jamie, pull that up. Pull that up.
And then they were talking about the square on Mars, and they're like, "What is this?
Oh.
Is this evidence of an ancient civilization? Was Mars much like Earth?" And just like every other American, I kept on scrolling. Didn't bother to look into
got
it.
enough to be an expert.
Yeah, right.
Moving on.
So what was that square, Spencer?
That was. This is a little square you're talking, aren't you? Am I thinking of the same thing? Because a couple of weeks ago there was like, are we talking about a big square?
Oh,
are we like
big,
crop
big.
circle size square?
It looked like it basically you couldn't see the full square, but you can kind of see it.
Was it a perfect square, or what? Did it look formed by?
Well, it was a 90-degree angle. It looked like. Now I don't want to ruin it, but I did
Ruin it. It's not a movie.
I did just Google it real quick, and then scientists are like, "There's another." They're like, "This is a ridge, and where you're just looking at some natural formation
wait a
that
minute,
happens to be a square."
What did your scientists say?
Well, Rogan, he said, "I don't know what could this be ancient civilization?" And when he said that, I was like, "Oh yeah."
He is really good at asking a question in a way that implies a thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And then he took a toot off of his mega joint.
Musk is there.
That guy.
And he's
We
like,
saw Musk
yeah,
on the
chainsaw.
That guy's got a chainsaw. He's yelling comedies back. Like, oh my God,
And
you
like, these
lunatics.
guys know. They're scientists.
They're lunatics.
They're on Mars.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard about that one. I saw what's weird just a couple weeks ago, like a small little kind of thing on Mars was also recently circulating, but I think it was an older one that got recirculated. But every single time, it is indeed just a rock.
I like the mask.
So I would just assume it's a rock.
I like that little mask that they had.
That one is a great rock. I love that rock. It's so weird and it's kind of creepy, right?
you.
It's unnerving.
Can
when
I tell
see
you
it.
something, Spencer?
Yeah.
That rock has been around for so long. It's been. I'm 48. That's been around long enough for me to see it as a child and be terrified of.
That's different when you're a child in like the 1890s.
It was the
1810s,
1820s.
something like that.
Yeah. Like,
We
I
don't
remember
have that
the
kind of
80s,
technology.
right? I think that was like the
that
80s.
was like in search of kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
and when you see that mask on Mars, I remember as a child, I was like, oh my God, that's what's going to eat me in the middle of the night. Like, it was terrifying to me.
I get it. I still kind of get creeped out by looking at that thing. And
It's-
I also believe it's a rock, but like,
Yeah,
are we
I
sure?
know it's a rock, but it's
Yeah.
so awesome because it's super scary. Yeah.
Now, am I right in that I heard that Mars did have a core?
Now, wait, do you want to hear if you're wrong?
Because I do not. I'm just asking this question. But did the Mars did have a core, and it basically burned out or stopped?
Solidified maybe or stopped spinning. Yeah, we're not quite sure.
Kind of like you and I with this podcast. Oh my God, I am Mars.
And that's essentially what killed the planet, because without the core, like how Earth works is our lava core core, basically the Earth's crust keeps basically
We get it.
recycling itself into it, turning back into lava.
Sure.
So and that's what keeps us alive and keeps the planet alive. And once that stops, and partly the reason because of our moon, like we have 2 cores, and that's why it lasted so long. I think Spencer's shaking his head, so kind of right.
Yeah,
But which way is he shaking his head?
But-
hold on for the
kinda
audio
like a
listener. Which
diagonal
way
one
is he
now.
shaking his head? Is he going like this?
Yeah, right. Just like
Or is he
stop
going like
talking.
that?
That's no.
So is there at all a chance that Mars was populated by any sort of life?
Chat
right?
room believes so.
And it's been burnt out for so long that all evidence has turned to dust. And could we find any sort of evidence, even maybe underground, of like, you imagine you found some underground evidence of like support beams from a building or something, like that's kind of ridiculous. But is it in like the far reaches of science? Are any scientists talk about this?
Well,
or is
you're
it
not going to go
not?
up there and find a space boot.
Well, I think that's
No.
the thing. Yeah, scientists are. If you're, a real scientist, you're not going to make the claim that we're going to find a space boot, but you are going to make the claim that we really hope to find life. It's just that, like, why would you make an assumption on what the life is? We have no information on what that could be, right? And so, but like, the possibility of life being on Mars is the question. It's literally all that NASA's talking about. Like, they've moved all focus into just, is there life on Mars, or was there life on Mars is a better question, I should say. And that's what the Perseverance is over there for. We literally spent $1 billion recently, sent a this was like I think a Max Mini Cooper sized SUV sized thing to Mars, and its whole purpose is to have laser vision to shoot rocks to see if there's like ancient bio stuff in the rocks.
It
is
was more
basically
like
what
a
it's doing.
Kia Sorento.
Exactly. And like you're saying, the core of Mars has actually stopped spinning as well. It's the magnetic field specifically that went away, which stripped away the atmosphere, because you need an atmosphere to be able to do anything, pretty much, be a functioning planet with life.
I saw Total Recall. I know.
Right, exactly. And it's so cold there with no atmosphere, and so there's no way for water to be a liquid as it stands right now. So it must have had a much thicker, warmer atmosphere at some point for us to see that result of the liquid flowing. But here's the thing. With all that said, now that there's no geological activity, like you mentioned, the magma's cooled down a lot more, the surface isn't changing as much as it does on Earth, those things aren't going to be buried as deep, right? Which is actually a great thing for scientists, because it means if we were looking on Earth, we have dozens of millions of years, hundreds of millions of years of life to dig through in the Earth, right? And it's constantly getting replaced with new mountains. Mars doesn't do that. We see the water that's probably been there for like 100 million years, and it's still just kind of there on the surface.
So
right?
hence why you were kind of beating the drum of Mars, the moon, way easier for us to drill and learn from.
Right, because it's not changing, right? We don't have as much to deal with.
It's a better sample in an experiment because it's no longer actively changing.
You gotta get to their place, but once you're there, it's easy peasy, right?
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Do scientists believe that, like, let's say our core stops spinning and that's done, Earth's done, like in a billion years from now, whatever, like until the actual sun.
And it's gradual, right? It's not like it just like stops and then we all fly off the Earth, right? Or something like.
Yeah,
I don't know how that works. How does that work?
That would be aliens.
And then say after 100 million years, would all evidence whatsoever be dust of our existence?
That's peaceful to me for some reason, you saying that.
Like every building, because after a certain amount of time, everything just turns to dust and turns to nothing, right? So would there be anything at all?
I think we tend to think of the Earth as like changing kind of uniformly across the surface, but our reality is that mountain ranges come and go. Whole oceans will divide the middle of the United States and then go away. The dinosaurs are later. Right? So like specific spots are changing. I would say that most life would be completely buried, right? But there's gonna be plenty of evidence. There's gonna be some like random valley somewhere that hasn't changed since the time of the dinosaurs, and like there's gonna be random buildings that are still there and everything. I actually recently watched a YouTube video that was talking about like the last signs of life if we were to all die out. Like how long would lights go on for, right? Like if all humans died, like when would lights go out? And obviously our lights here based on fossil fuels would go out pretty quick, but there's solar paneled lights that would go on for thousands of years, presumably, right? And that's kind of an interesting concept. Like thousands of years later, we might still just have like some functioning technology just permeating, existing. Voyager will still be moving. The Mars will still have the SUV-sized robot.
I want to walk around with just solar lights all alone and everyone else is dead.
I mean,
that's peaceful to me.
I think about it.
I bought solar lights on Temu and they lasted a week.
Yeah, not Temu solar lights.
Yeah,
the
solar
really good
lights
ones.
that line design a walkable path for a.
Yeah, they lasted a week.
They are
pretty much
terrible.
highway signs. The ones that the YouTube video pointed out is like, you know those call boxes on the highway? They've got like this little solar panel and an LED basically, and according to this YouTube video, which I don't know, right? They say these are going to last for like thousands of years because they're just so simple and like the system's just so complete and it'll just kind of sit there.
Huh.
Which is interesting. But yeah,
that is
well, eventually
really
we'll get
interesting.
buried, right? Like a mountain's going to come through and like over time scales, we're going to bury this stuff in 1 million years, you know?
Yeah.
Most of it at least.
So I get a lot of like science information off TikTok.
They know.
And so I saw a video the other day explaining black holes, and I finally understood black holes. I never understood them until
now
the video.
you're gonna try to regurgitate what you heard, but
you can share
you're
that
gonna
info.
mess it up.
I don't currently understand them. So give
well,
it to me.
no, I'm not. But I
So
understand.
you've won up Spencer, buddy.
No, I know.
Let's get down.
Well,
let's do
do
it.
you watch TikTok? Or?
No, that is really
you
meaningful
listen
though.
to Rogan?
Like when you have an intuition, when something clicks in your sciencey brain, like there's something special about it. And I know that feeling you're talking about. Where like, oh, black holes like make sense at a deeper level than I knew what they were, right? But now I kind of intuit them a little more.
Yes, that's
I
what
get
it
that
is.
same feeling when I chug a Sprite.
I mean, you're not wrong. I've got a chai waiting in my
Feels
car
so
right
good.
now.
You know what I'm
Especially
talking
when
about,
you
Jeff?
get that head
Jeff
rush,
knows what I'm
yeah.
talking about. That guy
There you
knows.
go.
He knows.
My wind-talking brother, yes, I hear
yes.
you.
So this is what they explain. They're like every like planet has a exit velocity, right? And that's what the space shuttle has to reach to get out of our orbit, right?
Okay.
And then like the Earth's exit velocity is like 7 miles a second. It's like that's the speed that you have to go to be able to get out of our gravitational pull and into orbit, right? And so then as the object gets more dense and bigger, like let's say the sun has an exit velocity is way faster than Earth's, obviously, because it's way bigger and has more gravity, right? So that exit velocity is some crazy amount or whatever, and then it gets bigger and bigger until the point where there's no exit velocity that's fast enough to get out of the orbit, and that's a black hole. And then I was like, oh, okay, not even light at the speed of light, which is the fastest traveling thing that we know of in physics, can't get out of the gravitational pull because the exit velocity is more than the speed of light.
Yeah.
And then I was
Where'd
like,
you get this, Daddy Long Neck? Who did Gucci
well,
Berry?
he explained it so easily. And then I was like, oh, okay. So then it's like it's the mass of this object is so high that there's nothing that can exit it, not even light. Yeah. And that's what the black hole is. Now,
so it's an unattainable speed?
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, no
so
light can leave it.
So there is a maximum speed.
Yeah.
Light is the maximum speed.
Light is maximum. So that does sort of make sense to me, yeah.
Right. The speed of light's not the maximum speed because light chose to go that way or just does go that way. Like, the math eventually hits a limit. Yeah. And, like, the massless thing that is light and other massless stuff goes at that limit, right? And so, like, we call it the speed of light, but I don't really like that name. It is the speed limit of the universe, and it's not even the universe. It's the speed limit of logic itself, of math. Math itself gives you a speed limit of existence, of when something is truly massless. Yeah. And I think that's the thing with a black hole that is even more bonkers to think about, which is you take that really nice stepstone of like getting there, but when you get to black hole, it becomes something even different because it's a massless particle. Light itself has no mass.
Right.
It's not interacting with gravity in the same way, right? It's interacting with through just the pure curvature of space-time itself. And so the black hole has to go through like this singularity thing that we just don't quite understand to even be able to succeed in what it does. And you know, it's like all the mass to an infinitely small point, which is different than a star, which has a defined volume, right? A neutron star, all these different things, they have a volume, they have a size. A black hole doesn't have a size. It's a single point of mass.
Yeah, and that's
which is wild.
It's beyond my comprehension.
It doesn't make, that's when it no longer makes any sense.
Well, the idea of you talking about light and the process of it just moving is just based on the curvature. When you're talking about like that, and you're saying that, then light really doesn't, it's not choosing to do anything. It just
is.
It just is. Yeah.
Right. It just is. That's how everything is. That's really what we are too. I mean, if you want to, we're all just kind of moving around, just right? We're just are.
I've missed you guys.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I
this
love
is
talking
fun.
about
I
it.
know. I'm serious.
It's been a
fun.
minute.
It's
It's
fun
always
when you
good to
guys
be
come
here.
in and we start like getting, we get way out there, and I'm like, oh man, Spencer got me.
Well, speaking of stars, I saw this other article in Science and the Universe about they think that water. I don't know if you saw this. That water was around earlier than people previously believed, and because like the universe started with only a base amount of elements, and hydrogen being one of them. But oxygen wasn't made until a star made it, until it was forged inside of a star, just like other elements, and the star exploded, scattering the element across the universe, right? That's how, the Neil deGrasse Tyson
beautiful.
has some romantic...
Yeah, that is
it is,
beautiful.
yeah.
because we're all made of stardust, blah, blah, blah,
I don't
And,
like
like,
it when
you
people
can-
say that, even if it's true. I don't like it when people say that because it makes me feel weak.
Yeah, Stardust. It's
I'm serious.
it's nice.
I don't like that. Like
It's just protons,
It's like
too.
telling me I'm made of snails and trails of puppy dog tails.
Yeah,
or what.
kinda does
Like,
something like that.
don't do that.
The thing that
I'm
really
made of.
that
I'm
you
American.
yeah made of hard stuff.
Yeah, I'm steel.
like neutron dust.
That sounds good.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds like a drug, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know if
we'll
we
back
could do
that up.
Yeah. The really cool thing about that is that we are in like the third, fourth generation of stars in our universe right now. The universe being 14 billion years old. For the first 3, 4 billion, 5 billion years, stars like hadn't produced enough heavy atoms yet for life to exist. So the universe was by definition dead for billions of years. It was mostly hydrogen and helium, and there just wasn't enough to make complex matter, right? But after stars die and they go through the cycle, like you're saying, we're finally at the point 14 billion years later where life can even exist. So one of the answers to why is there not a lot of life in the universe is maybe we're just really early. That this is the first time that life could exist because we're so complex. We needed 5 star generations, which take a long time. And when you're talking about the deep scale of the universe, we've got another 2 trillion years left before some heat death happens. So, maybe we're just really early. Maybe we're one of the first aliens.
That's what the
First to the party.
Hey,
That's-
first on the comments.
That's what the simulation wants you to believe.
Yeah.
That's what Rogan
Do you have a
says.
counterpoint?
Yeah,
Do you have
right.
a counterpoint?
Yeah, we're all in a simulation because if we can even think about doing a simulation, that means it's already happened.
Yeah, that
That's
is
fair.
I'm joking.
It's
That's
a hard
fair
logic
and
to get
proven.
through.
But and then I want to talk about Voyager 1 or 2 because it recently.
What's your favorite? I thought 2
The
was a
one
little
they're
slow.
shutting instruments down
Yes,
for.
it was
2,
a-
the pacing was a little slow. 1 really.
It was the classic, like the
Yeah,
original.
I like
yeah.
the characters better.
So
Right.
in 1977 they launched. I think that was Voyager 1, right?
That sounds around there, yeah, in the
but,
70s.
But they launched a Voyager.
Too tired to check.
And it had its power source was deteriorating plutonium, right? And
Yeah.
And then like it's something else too. But they shut down some,
Yoo-hoo. One bottle of
Just
Yoo-hoo.
right on there,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
No milk in that.
it's about to run out of power, so they shut down some operating systems or whatnot to make it last a little longer. Because eventually, I guess, then we'll just lose track of it, and that's it.
Then it's just trash.
But
Right.
it's insane to me, though, just thinking about launching something from 1977 and the fact that it's shot out like a bullet into space, still traveling, hasn't even gotten that far at all. Like, that's the depressing
It's not
part
that
of
far. Where they show you that, you're kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Because it's traveling at the speed of a bullet, and it's been since 1977, and it's like, it hasn't even. I mean, not even far at all. Like, I think it didn't pass like Pluto or something. It's like,
Well, it's way past Pluto now. The Voyagers are both kind of like at the edge of the solar system in the Oort cloud, which expands we don't really know how far. Voyager's kind of helping us get that. It went through, oh man, I'm going to get the word wrong. It's like helioshock or something. It's like the edge of where the sun's influence reaches the solar system, basically, where the sunlight or where the sun's matter stops influencing, and now only sunlight is influencing.
What's
it's
the
like something
radiation
like
like there?
that. I think less actually.
Less?
Yeah, because you're going to stop getting the helium matter, and
Right,
like that,
right.
you're only getting light radiation. But you're going to get at that point cosmic radiation from all of the stars, and our sun actually does a little bit to protect us from all that kind of stuff as well. So, when you get to the interstellar space, it's a different type of radiation for sure. You're still frying.
But the depressing part is that it hasn't even left our solar system completely.
No, it's in the solar system still.
And then you're like, oh yeah, but in another 100 million years, it may reach another. So you're just like, what? Like, and then, oh yeah, and then not to mention that there's trillions of other ones that are past that in all directions. That is so infinite you can't even.
But what if it just
comprehend
keeps going for forever?
Yeah, it will.
That's
It will
awesome.
essentially.
But that to me is that I don't know why there's something very peaceful and cool about that. I'm
It
like,
does,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, it does go
What's
forever.
forever?
'cause
I mean,
It's
it
impossible.
could be, yeah.
Space
even
itself
understand.
is expanding. So, like, the distance between you and me, if we sit here long enough, the space expands, is
Sure.
getting bigger, right? And as long as we travel less than how fast space is expanding, then you're never going to reach the end. And so it is infinite to any kind of
Yeah,
human technology.
Because it's ever
Because, like,
increasing.
you'll never be able to reach the end. It's going to expand faster than you could ever travel.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so it's infinite to us. And, like, but there is still a boundary, which is annoying to comprehend.
Did you see the article about they think that it's expanding in different areas at different speeds?
It's
or
got to
whatever?
be. I've been thinking this since college, and no one's been listening to me. That's not real science, but that's just something. There's no other explanation for the crisis in
Spencer's
cosmology.
in his dorm room
I know.
yelling at his
I really
posters.
was. I was
Come
on the
Hold
chalkboard,
on.
like, look at this.
Yeah, it's like this is. I've been saying this for years. It's like so it's growing more like an amoeba and less like a big round ball growing.
I guess
Is
that's
that
kind
kinda
of
like-
Okay, so like there are some things like the speed limit of the universe, not the speed of light, but they're the same, that are defined by logic itself, by math becoming a thing. There are other numbers like pi is another example of that. Pi 3.14 and whatever. That's a result of like circles doing what circles do. But there are some numbers that are constants that we don't know why they're that number. 2.71, why isn't it 2.70, right? And there's a few of these like physical constants in space. And so one of the things I always found fascinating in college is that these physical constants might be different in different parts of the universe. And when that constant is a certain value, that's what gives rise to the complex creation here. But like down there where E is 2.72 instead, life doesn't quite exist the same. Physics is working differently there, right? But like it's still the same universe. It's just that physics functions slightly different. I've always thought something like that because there is that crisis right now where we're measuring distant things and we're just getting different data. And it doesn't make any sense. It's a real problem, and the web is still making it worse. Like every time that I come back, it's just like, yeah, the web made it worse again.
Okay,
Yeah.
And so, Spencer, what's frustrating to me, and probably to a lot of people, and that's probably why, like, it gets to the point where
This is where he goes on a rant about timeshares.
No.
He really hates them.
Sit down here.
He's been waiting to chastise you
fine.
guys. He's been waiting to yell at you all day.
Why can't I use them at different weekend? It gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm following, and then all of a sudden you start getting to a concept where it's like, it's like
I do that all the time. I'll be reading an article and then I'm like, I'm out.
And
I'm
I'm
out.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, I literally think no amount of explanation can get my dumb brain to understand
that's
what
not
they're
true.
saying.
Definitely not, especially
No.
you who have so much primed. All you have
You
to do is
need
get
Spencer.
it in just the way to get that intuition click, like you got with the black hole.
Yeah.
And once you get that 25,000 times, you know physics.
No, you do that to me,
No.
dude. No, that's not true because like gambling, right? I'm not in there. I'm not a math guy. I'm a word guy, right? I'm an English major. That's what I love. But like he'll explain, like he'll dumb down like a gambling thing for me and it will make sense. You just need somebody like Spencer because you start to go too fast and you're also a know-it-all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gambling is easy compared to the physics, the different physics of the different parts of the universe.
Yeah, but every time
I'm
he
just like, what do
explains it to you, you understand it.
No, I
little,
just
a
shake
little,
my
but
head.
yeah, just shake- I mean, we're talking about
For
stuff that
politeness.
You need a PhD.
like when my nanny used to talk to me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, because now you're like, well, physics could be different in different parts of the universe, and I'm like, it doesn't
But
even.
you got to get to 21 to win.
So
Red
when
or
you're
black
16,
or double
that's
zero.
the dangerous one.
Double down.
Do you want insurance?
Yeah, because then it's like you're like, well, the physics and math, how we understand it, could be different, and now you're like, well, then it's just like the Marvel saying that there's
No, you like finites. No, you like answers. No,
Well,
that,
well,
that
That
could
could
be
be
it.
it. I mean,
well,
Yeah.
because math, to me, it's like, okay, math is
maths.
the truth.
Yes.
Like, and then I'll just like, math is the truth. I'll live by math.
Yeah.
That's my religion. And then you're like, okay, that's fine for our math. But that might not be true.
Well,
and
no,
you're just
no.
like, oh no.
here's the thing, because I'm with you all the way up until math is the religion, because math is like 1 + 1 is 2, right? And then, like, you take that and you get a little bit more complex. You do subtraction, multiplication. You start building on just this concept that 2 apples are just 1 apple and 2 apples become 2 apples. Like, it's just logic itself creating all of this complexity. And all of that comes from just the simple logic. The constants being slightly different is not based in logic. It's just a number that exists because. And that's not cool for science, right? We want to be able to get from 1 + 1 to the answer.
Yes.
Right? And it's a long chain to get there sometimes. But, like, Einstein did that with general relativity. He went from 1 + 1, he invented new math, he invented a new chain, and then he found that E = mc² and the speed of light of the universe and all that stuff. Like, that all came from 1 + 1. But, like, the constants are not math. That's the thing. That's why they're sneaky, because they might be math, but as far as we can tell, we haven't seen the math
So the constants are changing, but the math is
math is logic.
The math
1
is
+
the
1 is
math.
always going to be 2,
Right.
no matter what side of the universe you're on.
But the universe is not.
But gravity might behave a little bit differently.
Right.
The curve might be a little sharper at some points, right? Because of some random constant that exists, right? So yeah, I still believe in math, I guess is my point. Like, math is the one true everything.
Well, yeah, but then there's still, I do like that there's still questions, there's still stuff we don't know.
because it makes you mad.
Yeah,
And that's
we
passion.
like being
no,
mad.
but that is.
I mean-
we make a lot of jokes on here, but I think everybody knows that the reason he gets frustrated about it is because, I mean, truthfully, he's interested in it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's a cool topic. That's why I missed you guys. I like having you in because we always get into these things, and then they carry on to the dinner table tonight with Maisie. Well, what'd you do
Right.
today, Dad? Well, let me tell you.
It's why I'm not afraid of ghosts, and I'll explain.
Okay,
Because
all right. That's weird,
Here
but
we
let's go. Let's go.
All
I
right, let's
wish
get into it.
I saw a ghost or
Yeah.
something supernatural. I would want it so bad
Yeah.
that it would be worth it killing me just so I could see it and be like, oh, there's some sort of thing I was convinced this wasn't
dead.
real. Yeah.
How
and
do you
then
want it to kill you?
supernatural, and then the fact, like dark matter, and the fact that we don't know what it is, and there's something that is like out there that's affecting gravity, and we know it is there. We have no idea what it is. I'm like, oh, like I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
because it means
It is
that
cool.
the mystery. It makes me excited because I'm like, oh, maybe one day they will find it out in my lifetime. But probably not. That's what makes me so mad too.
You're like a jaded, pessimistic into science.
Yeah, because I'm like, just like the Dolphins winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, never
I'm like,
gonna
I'm
happen.
never gonna
Yeah,
win
right.
it
We're not
in my lifetime. Because then I'm like, oh, it's too short.
But we always say, oh, this is over. This is done. And then, like, we were just looking for, just some science things to talk to you about. They found a different dinosaur yesterday.
Right. Oh, yeah, they're always finding new dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's like, we got tons to figure
There's
out.
always something to discover.
Yeah,
and
tons.
humans will walk on Mars in our lifetime. Like that's
happening.
gonna happen, right?
I mean, assuming we make it home okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I just want to see him walk on.
Yeah, I mean, I want my
turn the
moon
camera
landing
off.
filming. Everyone got their moon landing back in '69, and I'm like, I wasn't there yet.
Well, I saw an article.
We got the chopsticks, the catch of the chopsticks.
That's something.
That
yeah,
was-
we got a lot of cool stuff. Honestly,
We
what am I
do.
complaining
Yeah,
about?
we got some cool stuff, but I don't know. Moon landing would have blown my
We got the
mind.
Well, the
internet. I mean,
article
that's something.
that I read say there was like they're predicting 2028 that they'll have boots on the moon like human beings. Like now,
It's just no longer NASA. Like NASA's just not going to be the first
It's
ones
private,
that
yeah,
do
yeah.
it, right? So, but that is going to escalate it so fast for sure.
Which also means we get a couple of those, like, where the guy's using the Xbox controller to go see the Titanic. We get we're gonna get a few of these guys that like get up there and they're running it lean. Which
Yeah.
We've seen SpaceX crash their Starship, which is intended for Mars. They've crashed it 40 times now,
Yeah.
something ridiculous. And like most of them were kind of intentional, but a lot of them aren't. And like that's SpaceX. So like when the next best comes and tries, they're it's going to be really hard to land on Mars. I hope that they are prepared. It seems just like I'm all for the private industry. It's just that there's obviously less regulation with it than you would get with NASA. NASA's not going to send people there unless it's safe.
Spencer,
Private companies are going to send
regulation
people
slows
there.
us down. We got to work fast.
You know?
I also do think when they do put humans on the moon and then we see it as all HD or watch it and then they start talking about how hard it was to do, that's going to blow up the conspiracy theory even more
Yeah.
that we did it back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Because like we're going to have a bunch of engineers and like this cost this much, it was this hard to do, this we're like, wait a minute.
You did it with a biplane.
Yeah, like when we see it, the second time so long later, I think that's gonna just
See, we waited
blow
too
the
long.
conspiracy theories
You think
up
we
again.
waited too long?
yeah. We should have done it in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you. That's-
Pre-internet.
Kind of like the Ghostbusters second movie. Waited too long, man. You can't wait that long.
Again, let's talk about the summer camps. And this is we like having these discussions is why you should send your kids
Don't
to.
you want your kid to be curious
Science
about
Center.
space
Yeah, yeah.
and
It
about
is, yeah.
nature and about animals and about technology and STEM and all of these things that, like, it's not like that's getting less.
Yeah.
You know, especially now. I mean, we live in a time where, you know, I mean, just also, there's nothing that sucks more than when your parents have to work or do something, and you have to just stay at home, and you have zero to do. You have literally all your for me, all my friends would go on vacation and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, thank God for camps or places to go and hang out
Yeah.
and you know, do stuff.
I was telling my sons the other day, I was like, did you know the Earth, like we think it's all rocky and there's huge elevation changes, but even like the deepest part of Earth and the Mount Everest is only like 20 miles different, whatever. Like, and if you are a giant and you rubbed your finger around Earth, it'd be as smooth as a cue ball. And like you wouldn't be able to feel anything. Like it's that smooth.
Let me ask you this: if you were a giant and you're rubbing your finger across the earth like a cue ball, did you wash your hands before you did that?
That explains
not-
so
With
much.
the
You better
special
wash your
soap.
hands. I don't think giants wash their hands. I know that's not
They
science.
can't
but
find a sink big enough.
look at this guy coming with logic.
That's pretty
Jeff,
good.
man,
That's pretty good.
Jeff's been sitting on his logic
Yeah.
all day. Comes with like that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Jeff, for the camps, like, is you drop your kids off in the morning, pick them up in the afternoon?
Yeah, it's a great setup. You drop them off, say around 8:30. They're in camp from like 9 to 4:30, and you pick them up after that. We also have an early drop off and a late pickup option for just a small additional
Dude,
fee.
parents have to work sometimes.
Yeah,
man.
and
this
that's
is-
exactly what it is. It's the best thing for working parents because the kids can be out of school, but you're not off work. And it gives them something really cool to do. They're around other kids. They're with our camp staff that is very well trained. And they're checking out the Science Center, not just the Science Center, but doing cool themed activities, stuff with chemistry, space exploration, animals, cooking, all kinds of great
What
stuff.
May like is
Yeah.
she did one, and we did, just so you guys know, we did one with I forget what we did, one of the later pickup ones. And there was one day where you just, like, she went there, and I was like, what was your favorite day? Well, they just let her go, like, oh, you can go to any exhibit you want.
Right.
It's like, here, it's your Science Center. Have fun. There you go. And she was like, well, that,
Yeah.
you know, if you're a little independent 9-year-old girl,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
get
you're
all that
like,
freedom.
what? I got the whole center, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of it, right? That freedom is part of scientific exploration.
Yeah.
So part of what makes my job like easy, quote unquote, is that like if I just make people think better, that is science, right? And so like if you are embracing freedom or embracing play, like Jeff mentioned, play is not a bad thing. It's how kids learn. It is science for kids, and it can be science for adults if we let us, right? The natural curiosity, like when you go and talk to your kids about the cue ball and they go, okay, cool, dad, and they go back to whatever they were doing, like
How'd you know what they said?
I know, right? That
Are you in my house?
That natural curiosity is not just there. It doesn't just exist, and we take it for granted if we have it. It has to be stimulated, and it has to be kept up with too. It's not just for your kids, but for yourself. If you want to learn to think better, then start going and trying to think better. Like go to the Science Center, go find cool things to just like critically think and try and challenge your brain in ways that we're not doing right now, right? And that's what's going to make you more curious and make you think smarter, which is our goal here.
Love it.
Yeah, leaving them home and letting them just play Roblox all day will not teach them anything.
Exactly. No.
That game does not teach anything.
Yeah, I don't think there's any science on there. I've looked.
get a
Like,
call in.
I'm like, what is this?
Actually, Max
the
was
one-
catching a megalodon the other day, and I
That's
told
cool.
her, but then
Not the one Maisie plays. Maisie plays one where, and I kid you not, where she had a little, it looked like a Lego girl that looks like her. It's like a blonde ponytail, a pink top, and a little white skirt. And she's standing in front of an ATM machine, and it's just the numbers are going. And then every once in a while, her little Lego person will hit a red button, and then money will fly out of it. And she's like, "Yes, free money!" And I'm like, "What is this?
What's
What are you
happening?
learning here? You're
I
standing in
still
front of an
don't know.
ATM machine,
I
just
don't know.
slamming the button to get money."
I know physics, but I do not know Roblox. I don't understand
Oh,
it.
I hate it.
Spencer, Jeff, thanks so much for coming by.
Yeah, Thank you,
thanks for
guys.
having us.
The
Anytime.
Website osc.org.
Yeah.
You could sign up right on the website.
Lots of stuff to look at there. Sign sign up, become a member, use it. You will not. You'll be thanking us later.
Yeah, and check out that License to Spy exhibit.
Yes.
It's really cool. And we will see you next week.
Awesome, guys. Is that it for today?
Yep.